Hello, everyone! Welcome, one and all, to the continued shenanigans of the Realm Alternate Streamathon. This is our third annual, yay! Thank you to the community with a weekend-long streaming good time. You may notice that Vetus City Guard is on the schedule currently, but there were some technical issues, so I have broken through with a Power Rangers one-shot and managed to wrangle a whole bunch of people from different and new Power Ranger generations from last year's Streamathon, from the Power Rangers podcast, people that play in Centurion Ridge that we have every other Wednesday but are playing different characters, and people that I've somehow wrangled into doing this from Friday Night Rem chats, a la Max Romans, who's one of our tech people with the mostest. Also, we have a fabulous tech person. Isabitz is doing tech and playing a character, and has been here all morning. So congratulations on that. Before we play, I bet you want to know about our giveaway for this fabulous one shot. What if I told you not only is a picture of it on your screen right now in our beautiful Twitch overlay, but it's also one of the most amazing novels brought to you by Jennifer Brozak. Iron Dawn is a gripping and really great new sci-fi, and you need it in your collection. And you have several ways that you can win. And you do so mostly by using Twitch chat. You get one entry with hashtag RemPC, one entry for 100 bits. So is it every 100 bits donated you get a new entry for, or just 100 bits and you get one entry?
That was not made clear to me, so I'm going to make a command decision and say every 100 bits you donate, you get an extra entry. And I'm making that decision.
That's fine. So if you donate 700 bits, you could get that same 7 entries you'd get if you subscribe to the Realm Alternate Twitch, but you're watching it right now. So why not subscribe? Join us. We're pretty cool. And you can also find us on Discord, join us on any of our social medias. We want to connect with you. We're a community, and we're going to have some fun doing some Power Rangers stuff today. This episode is entitled The Empty Valley, and I'm quite proud of this one shot. For people that have been watching the Panajohn Power Rangers cinematic universe, there's some things in here that you're going to really, really love. I also love that I've created my own Power Rangers cinematic universe. I've really made it. Here I am. All right. So, I'm going to give the Rangers a chance to introduce themselves. I'm going to go around the horn. As I go around the horn and you introduce yourself, please let people know what part of the Ranger universe you are from, or if you're not sure, you can say you're not sure. But please give me a culture roll as you introduce yourself. And we're going to start up in the corner here that I see with John Blair, aka Chunky Love, who is everybody's favorite Pink Ranger all the time.
That's true. Hi, my name is John Blair. You are watching me currently as my character for the Power Rangers podcast, Brick Kerrigan. You can also catch me on Power Rangers Centurion as the other male Pink Ranger, Felix Boucheron. And so, yeah, I'm happy to be here, and I'm excited to see what we do today.
Yes. And then a culture roll from you, Brick. And of course, culture is one of your high stats. In this game, culture rolls have to do with history, psychology, and grid lore for all the people that are into Power Ranger lore canon.
Sure, just give me 1 second. I have to open up my character sheet real quick. I apologize.
But we'll go over to Grim, and then you can just break in as Grim does their culture roll too. So, Grim, welcome! I'm seeing you again for the first time today.
Yes, for the first time today. Hi, I'm Grim. I am currently playing on Power Rangers Centurion Ridge as the Red Ranger Link. I'm really excited for the next session for this instead of playing Link because of the... I don't want to explore his character too much outside of the game yet, so I'm playing a Green Ranger by the name of Oswald Richards. No idea where he's from. He might be from around somewhere. It's Power Rangers, who cares? But I'm excited to play.
Green Rangers are always rebellious, so technically you could lie about it and be like, I'm from anywhere, except for the place where you're going to have the adventure at.
Yep.
And how did that culture roll go for you?
I got a 7.
13.
No, I take that back. I was looking at Jules' last roll. I got a 21.
You got a 21. And Brick, what did you get?
I rolled a 13, I believe, a 10 with a T4, which was a 3, so that's a 13, I think.
It is a 13. Also, from the Power Rangers Becoming Mighty Morphin podcast in the Alterni Archives, new episodes dropping every Friday, currently playing Deadlands, we have Isabits, as I believe you're playing Jane Russell.
Yes, sorry.
Did we come back to you?
No, I'm good. You guys gave me way too many places to mute myself, and then I have to remember where I'm muted. I am Elizabeth. I am playing your Red Ranger today, Jane Russell. I am also a Blue Ranger in Power Rangers Centurion, Jules Verne. And I don't remember what else you wanted me to say because
That's fine.
Have things going on.
You're from this universe of Angel Grove, and I just need that culture roll from you.
Yes, I am from the podcast universe, and my culture roll is...
I love the podcast universe. It's so cool.
I don't know what's going on lately. I got a 6.
Oh, all right. That's fine. Nothing bad's going to happen. And we have Max Romans, one of the techs with the mostest here at Rem Alternus, playing live and in person. Woohoo! Welcome.
Woo! Yeah, first time playing Power Rangers. And to be honest, I know I'm not alone in this, but Power Rangers was something that came after my youth, but I knew of it. So this will be an experience. I've seen John's work quite a bit, and so I'm interested in seeing how he runs games, so I can see if I can learn of his secret tricks and techniques. I'll be playing Lazarus Maines, Blue Wolf Ranger. I utilize a Fang boomerang and my high-tech knowledge, and I am from Ranger City. That's about all I've got right now, and yeah, there's a culture roll, and I guess I push this button.
You
and
push the culture.
No specialization, or am I specialized? I don't think I am.
You do not have a specialization in culture, so that's going to be no specialization. Usually I would say yes, so you can always say yes to specialization, because the base roll in this game is a d20. So regardless, you'll be rolling a d20. So.
And what about skill shift?
There is no skill shift for this. If you go shift up of 1 or shift down of 1, I'll tell you, and that would be skill shift.
Cool.
And, yes.
And now it's asking for a difficulty value.
It does a base of 10. Just always keep it at 10, and I'll tell you if it has a different difficulty. And that's usually the number you'll need to meet or exceed in order to succeed on your skill check.
Okay. And now it says something about snag.
Just go on to normal for that. So if you play D&D, edge is advantage, snag is disadvantage, and then normal is rolling without those.
Sounds great. Well, after inputting those 4 different variables, I hit the submit button, and it comes up with a 6.
You got a 6. Well, a 6 is just fine. I'm actually gonna...
It's indicative of my character's social and situation and desires not to mingle too much. So since I'm playing the Blue Ranger,
we're gonna have a good time with that. We also do have a Stone Canyon Ranger from last year's Streamathon. Shout out to last year's Streamathon. Chris is back playing Philip Michaels. Hello, Chris.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? My name's Chris, and I'm playing Philip. Yeah, he is a Blue Ranger from Stone Ridge, and we're gonna have a lot of fun trying to figure out what the heck this dude does. All right.
Yeah. You are a little more powerful than last time we saw you. You have a power weapon now, which you did not have before, which are Shark Shoju Claws, and we're gonna see how those work in game. And I'm very excited to go through that mechanic with you. Yeah.
Mighty 5.
You got a 5 for that roll, and then we're going to finish off introducing with our Black Ranger here. You named yourself, and I immediately forgot it. Gabriel. Hello, Gabriel.
My name is Dave. Character's name is Gabe. And I will be your Black Ranger for today. And I, too, am generally minimally familiar with Power Rangers, but I'm here to learn and here to play the system and first time with the crew. I'm happy to be part of the Rem Alternus family now officially. Yay. I feel loved. So let's get that culture roll.
Yeah, and we're happy to have you. Anyone is always welcome in any game, really, to try out something. You have to come to the Discord and say you want to try, because if you don't tell us, we're not going to know. But we have always got stuff running, even if you want to do like a learn to play. We have learn to plays occasionally too.
Okay. Yep. And that's an 11.
That's an 11. That is fabulous. All right. So the culture rolls that are lowest are the ones that are going to have to describe a dream. And so, because Max, you rolled the first one, I want you to describe a dream that Lazarus is currently having.
Okay. Since I'm taking a character that was a pre-gen, I'm going to assume Lazarus is in his mid-20s. He's probably, based upon the stats, a smart individual, and he's most likely in college. And Lazarus, being that he's going for a higher education, has walked into a dimly lit stadium-like classroom where he is proctoring a class where he's part of teaching a subject material. And as he heads down one of the side lanes through all the other students, who are, by the way, in the shadows, their faces cannot be seen, only that they're moving, talking, whispering. Some of them probably are seen as their faces illuminate with a cell phone or something, and he heads to the front of the class, and as he pulls out his notes, turns on the PowerPoint, he begins looking through the field in front of him of people, and all of their phones light up at one time, and so he can see all of their faces staring right at him. And he begins to get paused. He begins shuffling through his notes. The words start coming out. They're stuttered. He can't pronounce particular scientific terms easily. He rattles them off slowly, makes odd gestures with his hands as he becomes a little bit panicked and worried as he is being judged unwantingly for being unable to stand up here in front of other people and have this conversation. And so
as the frazzling sets in, and normally this is the part of the dream where like you'd start anticipating waking up in a cold sweat, your slides change that you're looking at in your PowerPoint, and you start to see the words, "This is an emergency broadcast alert, alerting all Rangers. Code Alpha 52231. Repeat, Alpha 52231. The valley has been breached. The valley has been breached. All Rangers, please report to your Morphin Grid Guardian. Please report to your Morphin Grid Guardian for details." And you wake up holding your power morpher. Like immediately you just out of that dream and awake. Whatever this emergency broadcast message is has like pulled you right out of your dream. And that same thing is going to happen to Philip. What kind of dream were you having?
Philip was in the dark, and he can't really see much, and for some reason it doesn't bother him at all. But he just has this growing hunger, and as he goes down, or where he thinks is down, deeper into the dark, he just gets hungrier and hungrier. And he thinks he doesn't know if he can smell food off in the distance, and starts picking up pace. And as it gets closer to whatever it is, he looks to his hands and realizes he has no hands, but fins. and is rushing towards. He was rushing towards some kind of giant whale or something. We'll figure it out when we get there.
As you contemplate your fins, you actually see a submarine above your head, and it has a little red like laser light on it, so it's breaking into the darkness. And you actually hear a polite but insistent kind of androgynous voice. This is an emergency broadcast alert, alerting all Rangers. Code Alpha 52231. Repeat, Alpha 52231. The valley has been breached. The valley has been breached. All Rangers, please report to your Morphin Grid Guardian. Please report to your Morphin Grid Guardian for details. And you wake up. The hitch in this plan, specifically for you, Philip, is that you are a Deputy Ranger, so you don't have a Morphin Grid Guardian. The closest you have is Alpha 5 in Angel Grove, but you don't have a way to contact them because you're too far away. So you wake up, but you wake up with your morpher already on your wrist because the Stone Canyon Rangers all decided they were going to have wrist morphers instead of belt buckle morphers. And you're really the only one left of the Stone Canyon Rangers at this point. You haven't heard from Ace or Leia in a while now. And so while you try to figure out and interpret the dream, I'm going to go to the actual Angel Grove Rangers currently. Jane, especially, I'm going to have you wake up first. You've heard that message in your dream, and you wake up with your communicator is going off, which is inconvenient as it's about 2 a.m.
Do I hear my grandparents waking up? Or do I think it's safe to answer it?
You hear snoring, so
okay.
they're in deep REM, which is nice.
Okay. Then I will go ahead and quietly answer, very sleepily. What is it?
Unfortunately for you, Alpha is not quiet nor subtle. Aye! Jane! You have to come quickly!
Okay. Alright. I will get up and get dressed, and so I'm not teleporting up to the command center in my PJs, and I will teleport up to the command center.
And you're lucky that you didn't go into your PJs, because Alpha probably would have teleported you in your PJs if you hadn't had presence of mind. Brick, your dad is up watching a baseball game, so it's actually pretty good cover for your communicator going off.
Alpha, what's going on?
Aye. Brick, it's a code. It's a code from the valley. Brick, you have to come. You have to come quickly.
Roger that. And I teleport?
You teleport. You and Jane answer, so you're first ones there. And the message that you got in your dream, the code is actually currently on the viewing globe. And Alpha's running around, like, hitting buttons, pulling knobs, like, doing a whole bunch of stuff and going, I have to call as many Rangers as I can. This is bad. And Zordon is like, calm down, Alpha, calm down. It'll be fine. Just do things in order. You don't want to teleport anyone to the moon again. Hello, Rangers. I apologize for waking you up so early, but we've had a code from the Valley of Tomorrow, and so we are going to need to recruit as many Rangers as we can find, including ones you haven't met yet, in order to succeed in this mission. Once everyone is gathered, we will open the message because the message came with a code. If any of you have anything that you want to ask, now is a good time before other Rangers start zooming in.
What is the Valley of Tomorrow?
Yeah.
The Valley of Tomorrow is almost what it sounds like. It is a city of rangering from the future. It keeps guard over some of the mystical armory, like your like potentially where your scarab shield may have come from. It keeps tail over the rest of the lore from the different universes. It keeps an eye on the levels of the different spectrum powers of the grid. It is a place of peace um, on this planet, but in kind of a different time and space in order to keep it safe and away from people like Rita.
Just for my own clarification, when during season 1 would this have taken place? I'm just trying to get an idea of the things like what Brick and I have just done.
This is before season 2 starts, so
Okay.
you've defeated Goldar.
Okay.
You watched the cat, the cat that Quentin had that kind of teleported after the end of the battle.
Okay.
You may or may not have seen that, depending on how busy you were. So you've gone through all the season 1 stuff, but we're not in season 2 stuff yet.
Okay, so we finished season 1. I just wanted to make sure we weren't like in the middle of. Okay.
No, you are not in the middle of what's going on in season 2 Sentinels of Senior Year, brought to you in the Alternia Archives at some point. So
well, I just
as
didn't
you're
know if
wondering
Brick had his shield or not. I think was what I was mainly curious about.
I have my shield, I'm pretty sure.
Okay.
You have your scarab shield. It does not have the cricket boost on it yet for the noise, but it has everything else.
Okay.
So as you two are kind of wandering around, Alpha's going on. He goes, "Oh, good! Someone replied. Someone responded," and he starts doing a thing. You don't really see the end of teleportation much, but all of a sudden there are 2 streaks of blue lightning in the room as the Stone Canyon Ranger and Lazarus, who's dressed in kind of this like ninja wolf costume, enter the building. Almost, I would like both of you to roll acrobatics to decide if you crash into each other as you're teleporting down, because 2 things of blue energy in a room means you could potentially crash. So give me that acrobatics roll, as is wont to do the first time you come to the command center. All right, so
11.
11. You do just barely avoid each other and everyone else, which is really neat. You do come into standing, and you are... so you've never seen Alpha 5 or Zordon, Chris or Philip, so you've actually never been here, but you recognize Jane almost immediately. You don't have a Morphin Master that you know of, Lazarus. You guys have kind of been on your own in your particular city, figuring it on your own. So when you heard the phrase Morphin Master, you're like, what is a Guardian? I don't have one of these. And you're now kind of in this weird sci-fi escape room, 90s dystopia command center place. No one's ever seen a blue Ninja Ranger in this universe, so your costume is completely different. It's more fabric-y, slightly more lightweight. You have a hood instead of a helmet. So, yeah. Welcome, Blue Rangers.
Yeah, he's gonna do like the Spider-Man like point thing.
I'm sure Lazarus will also take a step back as he's looking around for a moment and point at the other Blue Ranger.
Just like, nice color.
Very fitting for you as well. I like the helmet, but I prefer my hood.
I mean, that is dope. Like, what's this made out of? What's a Guardian, by the way?
Mr. Maines, it is an honor to meet you. I've heard great things about your city. I believe you have like a wood and ice theme to your ranger group, which I appreciate. You do a bit more work in nature, which we are very inner city here in ours. I am the Morphin Guardian. I am Zordon, and this is my Alpha 5 unit, who helps and is sort of the hands of the operation.
Oh,
I will give a bow.
He bows. Alpha's like, you don't have to bow. We're not fancy around here. Please don't bow. It's our honor.
Jane kind of pokes Brick. Newbies.
Yeah, Brick is going to kind of smile to himself and walk up to the two new Blue Rangers and outreach his hand and say, I'm Brick Kerrigan. It's nice to meet you guys.
He's like, oh yeah, pleasure. And he goes in and gives him a dap. What's going on?
I don't know. I'm just in the dark as you. We just got a call from Alpha and Zordon here saying that there was some trouble in the Valley of Tomorrow, and I guess we were one of the first ones to answer the call. But it's good to know that we have more team members on our side.
I mean, yeah, it's great. Teamwork makes the dream work and all, but we need this many Rangers. Like, dang, what's going on?
Jade, you told Brick about the deputized Stone Canyon Rangers, so this is one of them. This is Philip. Did not have a shark theme now, and has a shark kind of emblem on the center of their diamond. So whatever's going on in Stone Canyon happened without you. So.
You, we met in Stone Canyon, right? The summertime? You
yeah.
helped out with the candle thing?
Yeah. Jesse, Janine...
Jane.
Jane.
Yeah, Jane.
Okay. Yeah.
Brick, this is one of the deputized rangers that Eddie and I worked with in Stone Canyon over the summer that we were telling you about.
Oh, well, thanks. That you were really... Thanks for making sure Jane and Eddie were safe. It was awesome. Thank you.
I mean, that's what anybody would do, right? You don't need to thank me.
As this is happening, there is a spark of green energy from one of the consoles off to the side, and Alpha toddles over and grabs a fire extinguisher. Goes, "Oh, we're gonna have a Green Ranger! Gonna have a Green Ranger, y'all!" And at the same time, there's a clash of green and black energy, and he goes, "Oh, they're from far away. They're from far away. You might want to move a little bit." And we're gonna have both. Sorry, so many new names. We're gonna have Gabriel and Oswald. I want you to roll acrobatics to see if you end up landing on your feet or if you crash into anyone, as I am wont to do as you teleport into the command center. You're used to teleporting, Oswald, so it's not a big deal for you. Gabriel, you don't really teleport that often. You actually have like a vehicle. So the teleportation is like a new thing for you.
Basic difficulty?
Basic difficulty, yes.
Okay.
Oswald, you come out of your teleportation in a backflip and you land right in front of Rick. Gabe, with your 9, you don't like fall to your knees, but you like end up getting sprayed in the face a little bit by Alpha as he's trying to fire extinguish the little bit of smoke and spark. He goes, "Oh, I'm sorry about that. Sorry about that."
You know, that always happens when I get teleported to a new place.
What was that? Teleport?
Yeah. Welcome to the command center. You've been teleported here for an important mission. Welcome, Black Ranger.
Okay.
Are you okay?
Is he on his feet or is he on the ground?
He's a little bit like leaning on the console, but he's like basically standing.
Back up. I'm Gabe. How's it going? So what's the deal?
We were waiting for all of the Rangers to show up before they told us.
Right.
I'm Jane. This is Brick. Peter, right? And she points to Philip. Peter?
I mean, yeah, sure. No, Phil.
Philip, sorry. It's been a while. I'm sorry.
It's been a while. Sorry, I have to do it whenever someone says that.
You can call me Oz.
Hi.
Oh, you know. Nice.
Lazarus.
By the way, Brick, you just watched a Green Ranger come out of a teleport in a backflip. I don't know if that does anything for you as an athlete, but like you definitely just watched a Ranger backflip out of a teleport.
Yeah, and he landed right in front of me, so I think I'm gonna kind of like pretend that he landed like almost directly in front of me, so I'm standing like a few inches behind him, and I have to like kind of like shuffle out of the way to like make myself seen again, and just be like, "Oh, nice moves."
Oh, hi. I didn't see you there.
Dude, you gotta let him serve you like that. You gotta nail a backflip right now.
Well, I don't know if I have to, just prove myself based on somebody's teleportation entrance, but
Oh no, I was just trying to avoid getting sprayed. I wasn't trying to show off.
I mean, like, dude, it looked dope. I should try to. I'm gonna try that next time.
It was impressive.
after Jane says it was impressive, Brick is gonna kind of like look and kind of get a little insecure.
If you think it was impressive, I'll practice to do it more often.
Zordon is going, because Zordon's voice is booming and rather large. Zordon is going to kind of break into this and go, Alpha, I don't think we can wait for any more Rangers. Decode the message. If this is an Alpha protocol and you have coordinates after that, stand by for coordinates. And Alpha says, aye, Zordon. Decoding the message on the viewing globe. And what everyone sees in the viewing globe is a Power Ranger in green, but because I didn't actually have time to make a thing, this is a green VR Trooper style. So this VR Trooper style is definitely more mechanical looking. The visor is kind of elongated, no animal technology. They're in some kind of vehicle from what you can tell. And they say, this is Green Guardian Zealous Ray. Green Guardian Zealous Ray reporting in. Any Rangers from any time period who can hear me, you have to come and save us. I think I'm the last one. I'm holding open the time gate for you, but it will not last. If it breaks through the wards of the city, static. And the message starts repeating over again. And from Alpha, you hear 32715736117161087 3275. I can't do it. Anyways, you hear that on repeat. So basically, the messages start looping, and Zordon furrows his brow as much as a person with no eyebrows can, and says, "Coordinates. Rangers, are any of you good with coordinates or geolocation tracking? Anyone with skills in survival or cartography is going to be better at this."
I'm middling at it.
That's me. I mean, I'm pretty good at it.
As a Blue Ranger as well, I stepped forward too, and then I looked the other Blue Rangers, smile and nod because it's a Blue Ranger thing.
Anyone who wants to can always roll. So anybody that wants to roll cartography with whatever specialization you have, these are obviously coordinates. And also, the better the roll, the least time you'll have to... Because bearing in mind, these numbers and also the message from Zelos are happening all at the same time.
What does the
That's
D2
21.
mean?
That means you roll.
It's
Sorry, go
basically a coin. It's basically a coin flip, and so like you would get a 1 or a 2, because there's a mechanic in this game for coin flips. So just roll a d4, and then if it lands on a 1 or 2, add 1 point. If it lands on 3 or 4, add 2 points.
All right. So that would be 21, or is it automatically putting it in there with that skill too? Yeah, it automatically put it in there when I push the button.
Yes.
Cool. So
Okay.
I got a 20 in total.
When I did
You
it,
got
it
the...
worked for me, so I had to roll manually.
It's fine. So basically at the same time, the two Blue Rangers realize the geo coordinates of where they are very hyper specific, and it actually is the current location they're at.
The call is coming from inside the house.
Yes.
Okay. Philip says that, kind of mockingly. The call is coming from inside the house.
I see we have a horror movie fan.
I mean,
He's gonna like hold out a fist for him to give him a fist bump.
yeah.
The coordinates are here, like where we're standing right now, the command center.
It's probably where
I'm
the
going
gate
to
is.
rerun the numbers just to make sure that all the calculations that we just did are correct.
You're not going to have to rerun the numbers with the score that high. You rerun the numbers and you're like,
In my head.
yeah, this is the only place it could be. That's literally how geo coordinates work, especially for ranger stuff, because you kind of depend on that, especially in
We are
especially
correct.
in your city.
We are correct. It is right here. There's no questioning it.
Does that do like up, down, like z-axis essentially?
That would probably be part of the geo coordinates as well. So, would we have noticed if it had some sort of like zenith altitude thing going along with it?
You would not, but it would not surprise you, Lazarus, if there was a down to command centers, because your command center is technically, if you want to call it that, it's underground.
Mm-hmm.
It's inside the side of a mountain, and so down is safe. So if there's an up, it's safe. If there's a down, it's safe.
Okay.
There's a great possibility that the direction we need to travel is at these coordinates, but into more of a subterranean location here in this command center.
So Oz is gonna look at Alpha. Is there a sub-level to this command center?
Alpha cannot answer you. I will say Jane and Brick do know that there is a library. You haven't gone into it much more. Cecily has, but there is one down.
I know there's like a lore library, grid lore library below us. I don't know how deep down it goes.
Well, let's
There's
go
a
find
little like elevator thing, and you press a button, and Alpha takes you down. That's all you know.
We can start there if we want to look for this thing.
Seems like as good a place as any. I mean, it's not on this level.
Zoran, do you have any idea of where this portal might be located?
Well, if the geolocation is here, it is likely it has something to do with the lore library. It would have to, because that would have enough energy to move you through time and space if this is coming from the valley. This is going to be a very dangerous mission, and once you've arrived, it's unlikely you'll be able to be in contact with Alpha and I. So if there's anything that you need now from me, now's the time to ask before you go.
I will look to the big head floating in the disc thingy and say, do you have a replicate A5? Maybe we could utilize the parts from him to create some sort of communication between an A5 we take with us and the A5 here. Where I'm from in Ranger City, we have only a damaged A4 unit.
Oh. There are A5s if it is the Valley of Tomorrow in our library, but it is hard to say until you get there. Unfortunately, there are some unknowns that we face here in Angel Grove due to interference by Rita Repulsa. She is slightly more clever than anyone should give her credit for, but also not clever enough. So I cannot guarantee what you will find when you get there. But there will be Alpha units because most of the valleys have Alpha 5 units.
Okay,
If we
so
can match your frequency, and I'm pointing at the A5, with an A5 there, then we could be able to communicate.
Yes. When you arrive, you can try to replicate that backwards. But right now, until you've left, Alpha 5 will just be in this state of... and Alpha 5 is still rattling off the location numbers, so he can't really do much until you guys have gone.
right.
All right,
So
guys,
he's
we better
in a
hurry
catatonic
down to the
state.
library.
That's
It's-
what I
it's-
was
And Brick is
thinking.
going to go
Very much a
press
panic
the-
code.
Right. So Brick is going to go press the button to go down to the library and just be like, "There's no time to waste, guys. We have to go there before the. We have to get down there before the vortex closes."
Sounds like a plan.
Alrighty.
You've only been in the library once or twice before. Most of the time, you can't read the books. They don't kind of cause a headache for most rangers at a lower level, even ones with bigger, like Cecily's used to it by now. Eddie's kind of used to it by now because they've been down here a couple times. But you get to the Gridler Library, and Jane and Brick, the Gem of Storms that you got after the battle with Goldar, is going wild and wacky. Like there's lightning coming off of it in various directions. Yeah, not usual.
Jane, what should we do about that?
Okay, refresh my memory. Could we touch the gem? I can't remember. I think it was Quentin that had the gem.
Quentin did, and there's never been a rule that you know of about not touching it.
Right, okay. Is everybody else morphed besides Brick and I?
I don't know. I don't know until you tell me if you're morphed or not. Lazarus is, because I basically hand-wove that, but I guess it depends on if you wish to be morphed or not. It's up to all of you.
No, Oz would not be morphed right now. So he's gonna like reach into like his jacket pocket, pull out a pair of shades because of all the lightning, and put them on. You know, I never thought I'd have to wear shades indoors unless I was being ironic.
Your morpher temporarily turns in, temporarily morphs with your shades, so when you put it on, you actually morph, which is new for you. Don't think about it too much. I want to think about that later.
Alright. That's... Hi, nice to meet you. Apparently I should introduce myself as the King Cobra Ranger. His head is kind of angled towards Jane. So, moving on, I guess?
Gabe, were you, did you
Man,
come
this
in
guy's
morphed?
cool.
Sorry, what?
Gabe, did you come in morphed, or did you come in as, so in Power Rangers you are your unmorphed self? Okay, so
I came in unmorphed since it was an emergency, and I'm just going to be whatever everyone else is at. So if everyone else is morphed, then I activate my morpher.
As you came down, you were actually struck a little bit by the lightning, just a little offshoot, just a little spark of it from the Gem of Storms, and it actually morphed you for you. And so, like, if anybody was looking at you, you morphed without them, like, seeing you do it. But obviously this Gem of Storms is doing something.
Yeah.
Well, I guess no time like the present.
Please take a story point for a time theme pun.
Thanks. Jane, are you ready?
Yeah, I guess so.
All right, let's do it. It's morphin' time. Pink Falcon power.
I was wondering if you were going to do your sound effects.
I always do.
I know you do. Red T-Rex power.
Fun thing about the Angel Grove Rangers is they have like a Magic Girl Sailor Moon transformation sequence, so they actually take a couple of seconds to get transformed.
Well, I don't know if all of us do. I think Cecily does. I don't know if all of us have
It takes approximately that amount of time. Lazarus, that seems a little indulgent. Like you don't got all that time where you're at. In fact, if you want Lazarus, you could roll infiltration sleight of hand to go up to the Gem of Storms while this is all happening.
Infiltration
is all of your burglary sleight of hand, yeah.
I see that. And it says my evasion is a 15 and my speed. So if my evasion speed is like 5 and a 15, how do I know if I'm good at something?
So your evasion is your defense version of speed. And so that's going to be when you're in combat. So this infiltration skill check is a skill within that.
Okay. I'm gonna say that he won't approach the gemstone, and because I don't think this isn't my place, this is my thing. I don't know these people as well as I would like to, though I have a natural link to them being a Power Ranger. I want to kind of be prepared with them, and by touching the stone ahead of time, it might put us in a bad situation. So I'm patient as far as it goes for being the Blue Wolf. But if you have not generated any lore, I'm going to say that the Ranger City Rangers, Power Rangers, we jump like from one scene to the next, and that's kind of like how we change and we suit up. Like jumping through shadows and stuff like that, because we're more ninja-like. It's got to be fast and stealthy.
And that is canonically something that there are Ranger teams that do, which is fine.
I remember that.
Does anyone want to approach the gem, or are you all being cautious and watching? All right, so I'm not going to make you roll infiltration. So as the last of the Rangers transform, you touch a gem, and there is the sound of thunder and a flash of lightning, and you all, like your eyes close naturally because the flash is so bright, and they open, and you are all in some kind of weird deserty outpost garage, and there's a black and gold, mostly gold and yellow, Dune Star Jeep 4.6 in this garage. You feel the desert air almost immediately, and you are very clearly no longer in the lore library.
Toto, I don't think we're in Kansas anymore.
Who is Toto?
It was a Wizard of Oz reference. Oz? Haha.
Yeah, man behind the curtain.
Yeah, yes.
Green? Never
I
mind.
don't read much science fiction.
Anyway, who's a driver? Because, I mean, I think a bus everywhere, it's more convenient.
I can drive.
Jane is not a driver, just so everybody knows.
Brick can also drive.
I'm a driver.
Anyone that wants to use your driving skill, and whoever gets the highest score can hop into the driver's seat.
Oz is going to take shotgun.
So
I already called it. Too bad.
Do you actually have a shotgun? And he's like going to pull out what looks like a mini cannon with 4 snake heads sticking out of the front?
Never mind. Apparently, I don't do driving.
Brick rolled a 12.
So
I don't know. Do I have a shotgun? He told me I have a power blaster. I don't know what it looks like.
interesting enough,
yeah.
when I click the drive, which is a D2, it did it again. It rolled a D2. So yeah, when you click the skill, it automatically adds in that extra dice. Again, seeing I'm not from here and I'm a patient observer because I have a high perception and alertness, and I see that the Pink Ranger is making a move for the driving seat, I will just acrobatically flip into one of the back seats.
All right.
Instead.
Okay, so once everyone is in the car, unless anybody has anything they want to do as you're all piling into the car.
I'm gonna Dukes of Hazzard across the hood to get to the other side and hop in. Not in
There's enough room for that. It's not graceful on the other end, so no one else sees it happen. But there's just not quite enough room to go full Dukes of Hazzard. Like you have to slide your legs down as you're coming across the other side of the front of the Jeep. But no one sees kind of the clumsy part of it, so it looks really great from your end. So.
Oh, it's a Jeep? Okay.
Yeah, so this is the actual class of this vehicle is what's known as the Turbo Dune Star. So it looks like a Jeep, but it's also like a Dune Star class, which is Power Ranger semantic for a Jeep that seats many people.
Alrighty.
Is it open topped or closed?
It is open top with a option for a canvas top, and it does have 4 little lights on top, so there's extra illumination for in the desert at night.
Awesome. That just means that I can actually use my gun. And I feel like Brick was going to say a thing before he got interrupted 3 times.
It's okay. Is this the Dune Star or is this the Mountain Blaster?
This is the Dune Star for a specific reason.
Okay, cool. Yeah, Brooke is gonna like get into the driver's seat and just kind of. Does anyone know where we're going?
Does anybody know where
it
we
has
are? Sorry.
It has a little screen on it that says autopilot engaged flashing, so it's basically waiting for you to like press a pedal and like turn a wheel. It seems like that there's like a whole screen and some buttons, but who knows what they do. You're a ranger, so you know if you start pressing buttons, things can happen.
All right, yeah. Brooks is just gonna grab the steering wheel and I guess this thing knows where it's going and press on the gas pedal. Let's see what happens.
Autopilot engaged. Autopilot engaged. 50 kilometers from outpost to home beacon. Welcome back, Rangers. So you are in a desert now. It's not quite flat. There are some hills. So it's not the most joyful ride you've ever taken. This vehicle was built for utility as much as anything else. But there's not much actually to do. The autopilot takes care of turning like it's kind of on a track. If anyone wants to try to contact the command center or prepare anything or wants to look around, now's a good time to do that as you start to see a city coming into the horizon.
Can I roll an alertness? Sorry, I have to press the button. Can I roll an alertness to just kind of check out my surroundings?
You can always roll an alertness to check out your surroundings.
Can
Please
I also do that?
These do.
I would like to try to communicate back with A5 since we're no longer within their command center. Is that a technology roll?
That is a technology roll.
Ooh, look at me figuring stuff out.
Yeah, it's great.
Brick got a 7.
Jane got a 10.
You're in a desert. You're in a desert. It's a desert. It's a canyony desert, but it's a desert.
I've got a 9.
Okay.
And my alertness.
Your alertness. We got a 21 alertness.
Yes, sir.
The desert is normally dry. This doesn't feel as dry to you as a desert normally feels. You're also the first one to see the shimmering of the bubble. As I described the city, you're going to be the first one to notice this from afar. Because it's super cool, so you're going to gravitate toward it as like this like weird fantasy sci-fi tech.
Fantastic.
So that technology roll of 17. You attempt to triangulate a position. You attempt a lot of what you can think of, but you get static in trying to connect with any Alpha 5 unit. And because Zordon told you there would be Alpha 5 or Alpha units in the city, that is a little worrisome. Because there are always some version of an Alpha unit. That is kind of part of the Power Ranger thing. And when there's no Alpha unit, it really is a problem. Something bad has clearly happened.
Is it possible that my character would know about the predecessors, the Alpha 4s and 3s, or maybe knowledge of the Alpha 6s from the future? And maybe be able to, like, vary some form of communication or the technology that I have on my suit and search for one of those?
You can continue to try it as much as you want. You do get one specific instance as they're driving where you get instead of static, you get a screech, and you very quickly change channels because the screech is very jarring and everybody hears it. You don't let on how much that freaks you out, though, because that's bad. That is not a sound an Alpha unit should make.
Okay.
That's very bad. Actually, you can decide, do you want to let everyone in the car know that a screech from an Alpha unit is a bad thing?
I will tell them. Let me give me a second to think on how to put this.
As
come back to me.
Yeah. As Lazarus, yes. That's the character. Yes. As Lazarus thinks about how to tell about his news. A reminder for this giveaway, you can win Iron Dawn, a Battletech novel by Jennifer Brozak, and you do so by using the Twitch chat, hashtag RenPC for one entry. 100 bits will give you one entry, or as many hundreds of bits as you want for one entry per 100 bits. Or you could even subscribe to the Rem Alternus Twitch for 7 entries. At this time, too, we also do have a Patreon and an Etsy. So whether you want cool swag or you want behind-the-scenes stuff, you can always go to our Patreon or Etsy and get really fun and be a further part of the Discord community. We have a lot of really cool stuff. Not just Power Rangers, even though that's kind of my personal jam, but also a whole bunch of stuff we've got happening during the Streamathon. So enter the giveaway for Battletech stuff, and we're going to have a good time with the rest of this adventure as we approach the first hour of this adventure in this Jeep in the desert of the future, or what you might assume is the desert of the future. Where does everyone think they are? You were in a desert, but...
Jacksonville, Florida. This is a pretty terrible place to be in the middle of desert. It's definitely Jacksonville.
Jacksonville's too wet to be a desert. You know it.
I know it. I have no idea, so I'm assuming like some sort of... Yeah, I got nothing. I have no skills to base this on.
I'm going to guess, as somebody who's not 100% familiar with Power Ranger lore, that we're someplace between the Morphin Grid and reality.
Okay, that's fair. Jane and
Yes.
or Brick. So that was the Gem of Storms. The weird cat that followed Quentin around for about 2-3 months gave him this. So maybe you're in a cat desert? Maybe you're in a giant litter box? Do you think that, or do you think it's like more mystical, majestic?
Brick is just kind of like, he's not really sure what to think. He just knows that this comes with like the territory of being a ranger. It's just weird, freaky stuff that doesn't really make sense half the time. So right now he's just going through the motions, and until something really like gets in his way, he's not going to really question much.
Okay.
Yeah, Jane's about the same place. She just kind of, at this point, weird things happen, and you just kind of have to go with the flow. If this is where the cat came from.
Does it smell like cat litter?
It does not smell like cat litter. It's just that the gem came from a cat. So like,
Where is Jane sitting in relation to Brick?
Brick is driving, correct?
Correct.
And
technically the car is driving because it's autopilot.
yeah, but he's in the driver's
Oh,
seat.
Brick is in the driver's seat. Yes.
Oz is in the passenger seat. Is that correct?
Yeah, he's in the passenger seat because he has a big gun just in case they get attacked.
Okay. Jane is probably sitting directly behind Brick.
Cool. Good to know.
Good
That doesn't make me
times.
nervous at all.
All right. So the car does have an autopilot. You drive for some time, and then you crest a hill. And because Philip, I think you got that 21 right.
Yes, sir.
When you see a large city, you're not in awe of the large city as much as you're in awe of the giant orange bubble that's over it that seems to be shimmering. There's lots of energy to it. There is some roads that you're kind of zigzagging on, and you come past a sign that says the Valley of Hope. And the Dune Star, your Jeep, stops at a very large, very tall, very closed front gate.
I thought we were going to the Valley of Tomorrow.
Well,
I mean, seems like the Valley of Hope, aka the city called Hope in the Valley of Tomorrow, seems kind of appropriate. I mean, we're supposed to bring hope and cheer and all that other kind of stuff.
Yeah,
We're supposed to be the force for good.
I'm not arguing arguing. I'm just like, wait a minute. I thought that. I just want to make sure we're in the right place.
I think that was way back there.
Yeah.
And the Jeep is stopped, so you'd have to walk if you're going somewhere else. It doesn't seem
It's true.
It seems to have turned off now.
Looks like the van turned off. I guess we should probably get out.
Mm-hmm.
And so Brick is going to open the side door and kind of slide out of the car and open the door that Jane is behind.
Aw. She will get out and blush and say thank you.
Oh, that's cute.
Anytime.
Are we going down a hill or is it like flat?
It is currently flat. You have stopped before a giant door. Very Wizard of Oz style.
Alrighty.
Okay.
Pay no attention to the man behind the curtain.
So you said there's like an orange energy like bubble over top of this city that we're currently in front of?
If you need a visual, it's very much like city where the Time Lords are in Doctor Who. If you need like a visual, like a bubble on it.
I'm
Gotcha.
gonna pick up a rock and just kind of like flick it at the little shimmering energy field to see what happens.
I mean, the shimmering energy field is up, so like you're gonna really have to like.
All right, well then I
Throw
kick like I don't know, like a Randy. Dang.
Great. Give me a targeting roll to see how well your rock goes.
Does the bubble look like it's supposed to be there, or does it look like an afterthought?
The bubble looks like it's supposed to be there. Though the longer you look at it, it does seem to be blinking in and out, which is probably not what it's supposed to do.
You said targeting?
Yep, targeting.
Alrighty. Got an 11.
It is very high. The doors are very tall, and your kick, though mighty, kind of just goes up and then comes back down. So it does not actually reach the bubble.
Okay. Man, I wanted to see if it was like a big bug zapper. He's gonna say out loud. And then it's just gonna make its way towards the city doors.
If
At
you
this
need
time, I
something
think it's
thrown-
important for me to mention what I heard on the radio, or the lack thereof, while we were headed this way. There are no alphas within range, and I modified my scan to include previous models, 4s and 3s, and possible later models like an Alpha 6 configuration. The only thing I did pick up was an extremely loud screech sound. I'm sure you all heard it. And that is not a good sign.
John, I'm going to go up to the door. I'm going to knock on it with my axe.
When you knock on the door, your axe in hand just kind of go through the door.
Okay.
Jane's
Oz is gonna look at the Red Ranger and be like, traditionally, aren't you supposed to be in charge?
Jane's already walking.
I mean-
she's walking towards the door as you say that, and she's walking to try to go through the door.
I mean, that's about as charged as we're gonna get.
If you are, you're morphed, correct, Jane? You're in your
Yes.
red TRX.
Mhm.
You head in through the door.
What do I see
Great.
when I get through the door?
The kind of calling it the most beautiful city you've ever seen is a bit of a misnomer because you've seen a lot of beautiful cities. But like, if you think of like the perfect kind of college city, I guess is the best way to put it. Like something very walkable, something very communal. There are no trees, but you get the feeling like kind of the ghost of trees are here, and you are. I actually have something written up for you. It's kind of a mix of very old and very new. Technology with some places look like they're made of stone, bathed in the orange of the bubble on top. It looks like a very robust public transit system above ground, which is really great. They only see the tracks of streetcars, not a working streetcar itself. The city is bigger on the inside than you anticipated it being, but that explains the giant door. Uh, the second you get in, though, you hear like a slam, and like the whole ground shivers just a little bit. The second that a Blue Ranger enters, though, there was a box that's kind of like right there in front of you, and it springs to life once a Blue Ranger passes through the door. So it doesn't do anything for you, but it does something for the Blue Rangers.
Does anybody follow me through the door, or are you waiting for me to tell you that it's safe?
I'm going into the door.
Yeah,
Yeah.
once Brick saw you go through, he also just kind of just murmurs, "It's always something. It's always easier than it looks, huh?" And then he just walks right through. And you said it's like the technology of the city. It's not like futuristic. You said it's kind of like a mix.
It's a mix, but if this is the future, they cheerfully enough have public transit. So it looks like they figured out the public transit thing, which is nice.
Fantastic.
I walk by the Green Ranger as I'm heading in at this point and say, where I'm from, the Green Ranger leads my group. And
Nice.
I give a nod.
He's gonna go through, like, follow the ninja through.
I will
Part of
say
anarchy,
that
we have no leader.
I will say for Lazarus, this is a very familiar vibe. This feels like the same kind of size of city you're from. It doesn't quite look like your city, but you can see shades of the idea of community here, and especially as so it is a public map directory that springs to life. And here's the thing that happens when two Blue Rangers approach this screen. It has a setting to so the Blue Ranger can see it however they are comfortable, because they are traditionally the information technology ranger. And so there's like a half screen that looks like a map that you would be comfortable with, Lazarus and Philip. There's like a half screen that looks like the old Atsume video game, like has more of a Japanese influence. And it looks like you can like actually like almost, you could like, if you had a Wii remote, it looks like you could actually interact with it like you had a Wii remote. So it's like a split screen map. Obviously something a Blue Ranger cooked up, because this is definitely like universal Blue Ranger tech. And all the Rangers can see this. It's not like a secret, but like it didn't come to life before there were Blue Rangers. And it shows you the city has different sections. It's basically a circular riff on the Disneyland spoke wheel. So there is a green area labeled home on the right, a blue area labeled learning on the left. The area in the middle is red for community services. Pink and yellow are in the far back, and they are for festivity and philosophy. And there's actually a little dot for a second page, if anyone is interested in finding out at the second page.
I have
I'll
a
take a
question.
look
real
at the
quick.
second page. Oh,
Sorry.
Okay.
Are there people around, or is it just like, is there anybody around, or is it just us?
I'm glad you've asked. I will answer the question about the second page, and then I will answer your question.
Okay, cool.
I'm looking
So
for the black entry.
yeah, so for the second page is the actually one of the, so now that it's on, the Blue Ranger doesn't have to be the one to scroll. So are you interrupting Philip, or are you interrupting Lazarus?
I'll interrupt Lazarus.
All right. Lazarus, the Black Ranger clicks the little down button on yours. I don't know what your half the map looks like, but there's a down button because there's 2 levels to it. And the black section, black and gold, is underground transit and armory. And currently the black and gold section is also flashing red. And there is a small earthquake that happens as the red flashes. It's like an aftershock, so none of you fall down, but you all kind of feel the earth. And so Philip, because you're still on the first page, you can see there's actually a underground rail entrance in front of the red community services section too. So like you can actually, if you look forward enough, you can actually see the head of a mastodon leading down into the underground subway corridor, because they have several different types of communication. Yeah.
I point this out to our Red Ranger, saying, I think we got a crisis going on in the armory.
Yeah, I
Alright,
think
well.
we can take the train down there.
I guess we should head that way, unless somebody has any other suggestions.
Is there not anyone around?
It's troubling that there is no one around, because the longer you look around, Brick, the more that you notice there's stuff on the floor like it was just dropped.
Like there's things on the ground that look like they would belong to people?
Yeah, like not too far off from where you were, it looks like someone went like grocery shopping and their shopping cart is there, but there's no person with them. Like someone's got just like a grocery bag and there's like an orange that's fallen out onto the floor, and it all seems very fresh and like it was done that day and it just got dropped. In fact, the longer you stand around, the more you observe absolute silence, except for the aftershocks, apparently.
Okay. Yeah, Brick is gonna just kind of like, because I'm sure everyone else is kind of focused on the screens, so Brick is going to just kind of like get everyone's attention. Just be like, it looks like there were people here, but they've all vanished.
Suddenly, even.
That
So yeah, we should get down to that armory as soon as we can.
I would expect any sort of emergency bunker would also be underground, so that's probably not a bad idea.
Is there any way to download this map onto my device so that I can keep track of where we're at? Like, I don't want to get lost.
You can attempt that. Either give me a culture or a technology roll to see if you can download this map, because there are usually maps throughout the space for the directory, but you never know. You're in a new city. It's nice to be polite.
Yeah, and I just realized that under my technology it says the word robots. What does that mean?
Yeah, that means that, like, so I'm going to give you any specialization just because I like that makes the game a little easier for everybody. But if, like, we come up against a robot, you'll have more specialization and you'll do better against robots.
Cool, all right. I got a 10.
You get your half of the map. You don't know if you're missing anything else, but apparently it's linked to whatever Blue Ranger. So, like, you kind of have it, not it because you don't have a helmet. You have like a hood, but you feel like a virtual version of it on your forearm, so that you can kind of keep an eyeball on where you're going. You do feel good about the fact that it's kind of an oval shape. So even if you have to do like backtracking, you're not going to get lost in the city, which is kind of nice.
Good city planning is always important. Vote for those kind of political leaders who want good city planning.
Especially in a desert, in apparently the Valley of Hope. So you have a choice to make. You have essentially 4 different directions you could go right now. You could try to stay up top. You could go down into the... It seems like everybody wants to go down to the subway. Is anyone curious about staying up top? Do you want to all stay together? What would you like to do?
I think staying together is probably the best idea because we don't really know where we are or what we're up against.
Right. I agree.
Agreed.
Yeah, sounds good to me.
Okay. Well, if you wish to head underground, Black Ranger, you kind of have an elephant motif, so it's nice to see a mastodon. I will say that for anyone looking toward the Blue Learning Center, you actually see a purple building as well, to one side that has Ranger Museum on it. And anyone looking past the Mastodon Head just to see what the rest of the city looks like, the red section going down the middle has a whole bunch of like bulletin boards, and you see the universal sign for hospital, and it seems like when they say community services, they really mean it. But you come down into a very classic looking, very clean subway station with benches. Apparently, they do art stuff here because there are posters for different upcoming art festivals along the wall. It is fairly well lit, though it is a little dark for being underground. And there is a train currently parked right at the entrance. It looks like a very clean, very kind of classic subway car.
Alrighty.
Does this look like a normal place for it to stop?
Yeah, you're at a normal stop. It looks like a normal stop for it. Yeah. There's just nobody there right now. The doors are
so
open.
there's still nobody around. Like
Still
zero
nobody.
people presence. Okay.
You're open.
I think we should be ready for combat. And with that, like, Oz is going to flick his wrist to pull out his cannon again. Let's, unless anybody else thinks we're safe here. I don't feel like it.
What's safety? You're just gonna get on the train. What even
Jane?
is safety?
Jane has wandered over to the posters for the art festival, and she is.
They're
looking at
having a
those.
farmer's market. They are having a farmer's market in 3 days' time, and they're doing a face painting symposium for people wanting to do body art.
Oh, that sounds like fun. And then she remembers that she is not here for that, and she grabs her. She gets her her grappler out and heads over.
Interested in the arts, I see.
I am. I'm an artist.
Ooh, sounds fun.
I'll follow on to
Brick
the
is just-
train.
Yeah.
Okay.
Brick is following behind everybody and watching Jane interact with Oz, and is just kind of like clenching his fist a little bit.
So Gabe, are you getting on the train as well?
Oh yeah.
Okay. Everyone's on the train?
Mhm.
Nothing happens. Just stays there with the doors open.
Is there like a conductor's area?
Yeah, there's so the next train car up is a conductor area with no one in it.
I move in that direction.
Yeah, is this... I'm assuming that this train is probably the way we're going to be able to get to the armory area that we're trying to go to?
Actually,
Yep, it's an oval, so it doesn't go. Yes.
So, no, go ahead. Go ahead and finish the explanation.
It's an oval, so yes, this is how you get to the armory.
I'm
Alright,
going to go into the front cab as well.
Okay.
I have a quick question. Now that we're inside the car, these three are moving to the front of the car. Are there personal effects, like in the seats, on the floor, inside of this, or?
I will answer that question after I answer Bricks. Was that also your question, or did you have?
No, I was just headed to the front car to possibly see like what the controls look like, and I was hoping a Blue Ranger was going to come with me so that we could have some technological know-how.
Okay, that's fine. Yeah. So there are some personal effects on the seats. Somebody had just bought some flowers. There is, Jane, I'm going to have you notice this. There is a very, very tiny T-Rex robot toy on one of the seats. It's not doing anything, but it's like from the 90s, those little Poochie dolls. But a little red T-Rex, especially.
She's gonna go over and pick it up and just kind of like grin and play with it a little while everybody else is doing whatever they're doing.
It does not respond to you because it does not belong to you, but
That's fine.
that's okay. There's still a little red T-Rex toy, however far that amuses you. Yeah, there's stuff in some of these seats, but it's still a pretty clean train. The front of it, when you get to kind of the captain's chair area, it has all the things on it, but it's all powered down. Like when you try moving the levers and pressing buttons, nothing happens.
Nothing happens when I come in, like the way that the terminal is activated when the Blue Rangers approach.
Nothing happens.
Looks like we need a power source of some.
Like, is there like a circuit breaker I need to hit, or like a just like a key that we need to turn, or I can pick, or anything like that?
Black Ranger, are you going to attempt any of the buttons or anything like that?
I'm going to start pushing buttons.
You hear a little ping goes.
That always works.
Emergency protocol activated. Trains depowered. Emergency protocol deactivated. Proceed manually across track, if advised.
I'm
wants us to
observing
go
the
by
Black
foot.
Ranger's action while standing next.
Jane's gonna
Reconnect-
go. Sorry, go ahead. No, go ahead.
I'm going to say out loud in the reactivate power transit system.
The transit system does not reply to your vocal request.
I would like to make a technology check to see if I can determine how to turn the train on, giving it power and allowing it to head to its next station from this point.
Yep, sure, you betcha. Go for it. Give me that technology roll.
12.
This is an emergency protocol that does not seem to have an override that you can find. Essentially, in an emergency, and if you look underneath, there'll be a manual. In an emergency, the entire system deactivates because of the structure of the trains and how they approach the armory. So
it's not going to run. Is what I'm getting.
It is not going to run while there is an emergency. It is built to go essentially dead at the next station.
Okay, which is where we're at right now. So I will get the Black Ranger's attention and say, the emergency scenario that's going on right now keeps this train from moving. We're going to have to either move on foot or find a way to shut down the emergency signal that it's receiving.
How far away is the armory on this track?
Not very far. You could do it in a couple of clicks at like sprint speed. It would be 2 or 3 combat rounds. So like outside of combat, you could get there within 10 minutes. It's not going to be the end of the world, especially in Ranger armor. It's not going to be the end of the world.
All right, who's up for a little Stand By Me action?
I'm good with that.
Let's go.
Brick is going to come out of the whatchamacallit, the conductor's room, because I'm assuming that Jane and Oz were not present there when they were like
We were She's still
discussing
playing
all
with
this.
the T-Rex toy.
So he's going to come out and be like, well, it looks like we're not going to be moving on this train, so I think we're going to go ahead on foot.
So we're following the yellow brick road. Gotcha.
Okay.
I mean, the yellow
That's
brick road,
number
if there
4.
was very low lighting.
That's number 4, by the way, as far as Oz reference. The next thing to happen is a house drops on somebody.
Please don't give John
Hey now,
ideas.
no spoilers. No spoilers. I will say, if you were going to walk the tracks, which I don't know if anybody is staying behind or what have you, but if you're going to, please give me an acrobatics for walking these tracks. This acrobatics roll is because they are train tracks, but also because it is a little dark. Lazarus, it should not be this dark. This is an ongoing
It
thing
should be.
with the. It should be slightly more lit at least. Like
Yeah, emergency lighting or
you
something.
shouldn't be feeling the mood. The mood is bad.
So I have my grappler out, and my grappler is on fire, so that gives us a little bit of extra light, correct?
Ooh.
Yeah, but it's kind of like firelight, so it moves slightly. So
Yeah,
it
but
may
it's better
actually
than
be
nothing.
less helpful.
Mhm.
There's still some light, but it's still very much
You
like there
really
are
want
shadows.
it to be dark.
It's not like you're not being chased by like Jason or Michael Myers, but like, you know, if this is a Valley of Hope, City of Tomorrow, City of the Future, it's very moodily lit for being as such.
Mhm.
Yes. Okay. So how did everyone do?
I got a 5.
You got a 5.
Rick got a 19.
Of course he did.
The only person to trip if that's everybody's acrobatics roll.
I haven't.
Lazarus
will
made
be-
an 8.
Okay.
Is there any way that I could convince you that Jane is finessing along the tracks instead of acrobating along the tracks?
Not if you're two-handed carrying your grappler man catcher to give light like a torch. No.
Okay. Darn it. All right.
You've done this to yourself. I would have given it to you, but you were really trying it. So
I got a 3.
Got a 3. Okay, so anyone that got less than a 10 does trip on your time sojourning. If you got a 5 or below, you will be falling on your face once. But it can look graceful, like you meant to do.
Can I roll something to maybe catch Jane if she falls?
I will just let you do that for story reasons.
Okay, cool. So Brick is gonna be walking sort of next to Jane, and Jane is going to trip on something because she rolled a low acrobatics, and is going to quickly kind of like just catch her before she falls, and just be like, "Don't go tumbling on me."
Oh, sorry. Thank you for catching me. That would have been bad. Thank you.
Yeah, she
by the
really
way,
fell for you.
By the way, Brick catching you is the only thing that keeps you from breaking the little T-Rex toy because you're trying to juggle. the
Oh no,
little
I put it
T-Rex
down
toy.
because it wasn't mine. I put
Okay.
it down.
Oh,
I didn't
you're
want
a
to
good
steal it.
person.
I am a good
That's
person.
fair.
Unless you ask for small.
You don't know if it's stealing. There could be many of them in the city. It's hard to say. But as you are going along, the entire track does shiver. Whatever you're approaching is trying to do something. And you are getting closer to the armory because that's where this track goes. It has a couple of other stops, but as you pass one, you realize you're already halfway to the armory. Give me an acrobatics roll now because you're getting closer and everything is starting to move. Something is down here.
11.
And 11.
So, I have another question for you then, if I have to roll another acrobatics roll.
Yes.
If Brick is still holding on to Jane, can I roll it with an edge?
I mean,
Good idea.
Or I guess
it
it would be without a snag because I don't have any points in it, so it would just be with no snag.
I will let that happen if you're going to put your grappler man catcher up, because if we go into a combat situation, it's still a free action to
Okay.
pull it out. So
Okay. So I
It's
guess
up
that
to
depends.
you.
If Brick is still holding on to Jane so she doesn't fall, she will put her grappler away.
Yeah, Brick is just kind of like holding on to like her like arm
Okay.
so that she doesn't like fall.
Thank you. I still got
Alright,
a 5, so
so-
it doesn't matter.
yeah. So anyone under 10, you do kind of go. You don't go quite prone, but you do shift down as you approach the armory doors. There is a big hole next to the armory doors, like someone like hit into the side of the subway wall.
Hmm.
Is anyone interested in approaching the hole and seeing what's inside of it?
Well, yeah, I have a gun, so yes.
This is before combat, so is there anything anyone would like to do before combat begins, or
I
preemptively?
just have my axe out in a defensive position, ready to go.
That's fair. All right. So everybody, give me an initiative roll as you approach the hole next to the armory that should not be there.
And where am I finding initiative at?
It's one of your speed skills.
Aha! Thank you.
I got a 3 again. I hate roll 20. It hates me so
It
much.
I
happens.
got a 9.
Got a 9.
Lazarus got a 9.
Lazarus got a 9. Rick, I'm going to have you roll that.
Yeah, I'll
because
reroll.
Lazarus
I'll reroll.
got 9. And
6.
At the 2.
Rick got a 6. Philip got a 2. And I believe
Oz has a 12.
Oz has a 12. That's math. Is that? Am I missing anyone? 1, 2, 5. Okay. Yes, that is correct because. So Janie, remember the cute little adorable red T-Rex that you saw
I do.
in the subway?
I do.
It has a big brother, but this big brother is like kind of a weird steel monstrosity color. It has gray and black, and it has like dots across its forehead, and it's currently like it was gnawing at the earth, and it turns around to look at you all from the side of the hole, and it growls. And Oz, you have the highest initiative, so you can respond how you would like to.
Okay. It's growling and looking at us, yes?
Yes, it is aware of your presence.
Awesome. I am going to go ahead and, let's see, I have a speed of 7, so I have a ton of free actions.
So your speed here you get 1 move, 1 standard, 1 free. You don't really get extra free actions based on.
Okay. Well, I will take my free action to aim since I already have my weapon out. I'm going to use the upshift that it would cost me to use my special ability for my weapon to make myself do some extra damage if I hit enough times. And then I'm going to fire.
Great.
My weapon's not great, but it does give me a bunch of shots.
Great. Toughness is 16, so...
All right, let's do
Okay.
this. Now, I roll, with the way my weapon works, I roll 4 attacks, because I'm basically taking the Star Slingshot, and I've turned it into a minigun.
Okay.
Same basic rules.
All right. So one of them needs to hit. To do
I have to hit, actually, I have to hit twice in order to do damage, because I get to
Okay.
roll 4 attacks.
You could have lied, but yeah, go for it.
I'm not going to lie. Why would I do that?
Because I wouldn't have known the difference. You're a good person. Please give us your serpentine hits. All right. You
I will
got
do 2
1.
damage for every 2 hits I make.
Okay.
And you said it was a 16?
It is a 16 that you need to hit.
Okay. And it doesn't matter if I hit with a 3rd attack because I have to hit in even numbers. However, the 2 that hit were both critical successes according to that. But it is 2 energy damage, as he basically just hits a button, it starts spinning, and just a spray of energy going down at the T-Rex monster.
Yes, and the sparks, the green sparks fly off of it as the energy hits. It does not like that. It growls at you, and it has a weird tinny growl, Lazarus, that almost sounds like that screeching that you heard earlier. And the next one to go will be Lazarus, actually.
Bringing up my sheet again. I have a technology robot. Is there a possibility that I can look for some sort of on-off switch or easy way to deactivate it, such as calling the attention to a weak point on it to the other Rangers?
Give me that skill check roll, and I will let you know what you find. And that's a free action, because a skill check for me is a free action.
So when I set this up, I
Usually.
select specialized because I have robots as a specialty.
Yes, please.
And I can spend a power point to edge my roll, and that's the personal power thing, right?
Yes, that is your personal power plate,
Cool.
and that will give you an edge on the roll.
I got an 18.
18. Great. You're terrified because someone has taken alpha technology and created a bastard T-Rex robot.
Is this a 5, 6, or a 4? Like, what version?
You hope it's 5 because that's the one that's the easiest to break, amusingly enough. But yeah, somebody got into the Alpha Prime system and made something that should not exist, and they did not care what they were doing. It's bad. It's a bad thing.
Okay, so, but I'm able to identify a weak spot in it.
It doesn't really have one, which is also worrying.
So the normal Alpha 5 weak spots have been removed by some sort of modification.
Yeah, it's
Got
like
it.
someone put Battleizer armor on an Alpha and turned it into a T-Rex. So it's like also
I will
mocking
use-
Ranger tradition.
I will also just use that phrase, that terminology, and be like, this is an Alpha 5, and somebody has used some sort of Battleizer armor modification to it. It has no weak spots. And then I'm gonna throw my boomerang, because that's what I got.
I think you should throw your boomerang. Any range attack is going to be a targeting.
Okay, so I'm got my Fang boomerangs. Is that considered a power weapon?
That is your power weapon, yes. It is special
So I
to
have-
you. Yes.
It is power weapons, finesse power weapons, and it's specialized. So
Yes.
I got a 23.
That's a 23. You slice it across the nostril. Jane, you wince a little bit because, it's an evil dinosaur, but it's still a T-Rex. And you slice it. Lazarus slices it across the schnoz, and the boomerang comes back. You've done 1 point of slash damage. It's called the Gnaw, is what I've called it, and it's not having a good day. And so the next person to go will be Brick. Brick, someone took the lovely Alpha 5 and turned it into an evil robot that looks like a dinosaur. That's not cool.
Yeah, Burke is going to turn to Jane and just say, I think I like your T-Rex better
Me too.
than this one. And he's going to pull out his Thunder Slinger, and he's going to... Which feels good because he hasn't had it in a
I
while,
was gonna
even
say,
though...
doesn't that feel nice?
I know it does. It feels cool, but
That's
not
no
right.
spoilers. No.
Sorry. No spoilers. Yeah. So he's going to do that. He's gonna target it and shoot at it. And okay, I have a question. You said we're keeping our current levels that we have in these characters.
Yeah. So, however many, I guess if you're talking about volley
I'm only
shots, it'd
asking
be
because
however many you have.
how
Yeah.
many I have like currently like in the game that we are playing right now, or currently is in like back when this happened, because I think I was probably like level
How
5
many
or
you
something.
have currently? Because this was all. We're all doing this on the fly. So yes, currently, whatever currently for you.
All right, rock and roll. I'm gonna shoot 4 shots at this thing, and hopefully this hopefully it works out.
I mean, you can't let Lazarus or you can't let Oz have all the glory.
No, so like because Oz like did a really cool shot, Brick is like really hoping that he gets like a really nice like he doesn't want to look bad in front of Jane. For some reason he feels like he needs to one up this guy.
I don't apologize, and I feel bad for Oz because I forgot to use his second attack, and I could have just kept firing the gun.
That's okay. That's okay. You'll get more chances.
Oh, he was just surprised. That's why he didn't hold the trigger down longer.
It happens. By the way, for all who don't know, Brick's Thunderslinger does look like a baseball glove and baseballs.
Yeah, it's
So-
like a pink glove that's like in the. I keep hitting the button and then taking my hand off. It's like a pink glove that is like in the shape of like an eagle talon, and then there's like, or a falcon talon, I guess, and then there's like a pink wing that kind of like goes up his arm. Anyway, I got a 17 on my D20, and I have a D10 in targeting, which was a 7, so I believe that's like a 24 or 25.
That's good. That's gonna hit. That's gonna hit with the number you need. How much damage are you doing?
I don't know the answer to that question. I just have the number of the roll. I don't know how much damage that does.
Okay, you did a great amount of damage. You aim true, and it like kind of eats your Thunderslinger attack, and it tries to growl, but it more coughs than anything else, which is kind of satisfying. Unfortunately, now it is Na's turn, and it has seen all of you, so it is going to come charging out of the hole like a wild beast, and I need everybody to make me. Actually, it's going to roll, and then you have to. It is going to have to. If it is not higher, or if it does not meet your evasion roll, you will end up prone and with 1 point of damage.
I mean, I do have a question. So I did use my volley shot here. So I did shoot this thing 4 times.
It's true.
Wow.
It has health. Trust me. It's
Okay.
you all chose a direction in the story where you could have chosen a different direction.
So we're all rolling evasion, you said?
No, you're going to look out for the number that I am going to do, and
it has to. If our
has to-
evasion is higher, they miss. Got it.
yes.
Yeah, it's essentially your AC.
Oh well, never mind.
And so, yeah, it's not what you'd call a thinking killing machine. It's just more of a killing machine. So it barrels through y'all, but I don't think anyone's evasion is lower than a 6. So you're probably all fine. But it does turn, and Jane,
Oh.
it is your turn.
Okay. Okay, so where exactly is it? Did you say it was on the other side of a wall?
It is now just on the other side of you all. It is now on the
Okay.
tracks, as
Okay.
it were.
Okay. I am going to bring my grappler back out, and I am going to... what do I want to do? I have so many fun things that I can do.
You know what's
I'm-
also fun? Entering the giveaway for Iron Dawn by Jennifer Brozek. If you have not entered, you can use hashtag RedBC in the Twitch chat. Donate 100 bits or more, 1 entry per 100 bits, and 7 entries for subscribing to the Rem Alternus Twitch, which you are currently watching. Thank you. As we head not quite there, but we're 15 minutes away from 2 hours in to being in the Valley of Hope / Valley of Tomorrow, and the mysteries have only deepened. Lazarus, you're probably the most perturbed because you know the most.
How far away is it from me? Like, can I hit it from where I am with my grappler?
Yeah, you can hit it. You have 3 times reach with the grappler, anyways, so you'll be able to hit it. But it's not far. It didn't have like far it could go.
Okay.
I will say it's no longer in the hole. So anyone interested in what's going on in that hole, if combat lasts, which it may not, because 2 rangers have essentially shot at it a lot successfully. But if combat lasts, there's always the option of seeing what's in the hole that it's going on for.
I'm gonna hit it with my grappler, but I'm gonna spend a power point to do power strike. So I will do 2 damage to it.
Please do that thing that you do so well.
I usually do it very well. Today has not been a very good day. I got a 12.
Yeah, you there's like a little pillar and you're kind of worried about hitting the pillar, so you're just a little too cautious. Because you don't want like things to cave in on you, but the caution just kind of made it yeah. So yeah.
Is drawing my power shield a bonus action or is it a regular action?
That's gonna be a standard. So
Okay.
I'm not gonna let you.
Okay, no worries.
Philip, your turn.
All right.
Weird giant robot T-Rex thing.
Is this thing towering or is it just giant?
It's just large. It's not towering. It's the subway system is not big enough for a towering.
Sweet. I'm gonna use my power, which is bowl over. Yeah. So I'm gonna sprint forward like Naruto style as they're like blasting and trying to grapple it, and I'm going to essentially tackle this thing down.
I will let you roll a might roll with an edge to let you use your shark shoju and grapple and bite at it. If you like.
I'll do that. Alrighty. Ooh, so D20 plus a D4. So 13.
13. You have it grappled, but you don't get the bite down.
Alrighty.
Did everyone get their first turn? Because I feel like 1, 2, 3, 4.
Yeah. Hi.
5. Okay. Yes. What was your initiative roll? Did we?
My initiative
miss
roll
that?
was 10. Yeah.
Okay, so I missed it. That was my bad. I was like, I could feel something was wrong with the numbers, but I couldn't quite figure out what it was. But please, go ahead. I apologize for.
It's okay. I am going to rush up, flank, so that I'm out of the line of fire for the other rangers, and I am going to thwack it with my power axe.
I like when Black Rangers thwack things with their power axe. I think you should do that. That is going to be a might roll for you.
Right. So no. Oh, I do get a specialization because power axe is a specialization.
Yes.
Aha. Okay. No skill shift. Difficulty 10. Difficulty 10.
Just leave that. It has a higher difficulty, but it doesn't make sense to change it every time.
Oh yeah, I understand. Yeah. Okay, and normal.
And normal.
Wah wah. Now,
that's a 6.
What are the story points for?
The story points are for rerolling, but it's much more like a reroll a 1 or a 2. That's a little high to reroll a story point. You have the same problem Jane had. There's like pillars, and it's not ideal. Not ideal situation.
Right.
Okay, so as this thing has like 1 point of damage left, or you could go in and explore the little hole that it made in the side of the earth.
Wait, it's still
all right. So
it's
still
okay. I was just
but you can move.
Oh yeah, I know. I was just wondering. It's like, wait a minute, explore option in the middle of combat. Okay.
Yeah, I'm not going to stop anyone from wanting to do that if you want to. It's right there. It's like way far away. I'd say no, but it's like right there. So.
Yeah, they look like they've got it handled. It looks pretty beat up, I'm assuming, because it's been shot several times and things like that. And there might be people inside. That's why it was, it hadn't left this area. So he's gonna go like, I'm gonna make sure there's no people since we haven't seen any, and then he's gonna go through the hole.
So you go through the hole. Are you big on pop culture?
Um, Oz, yeah, it's about the one thing he's got because of his background to be able to connect with people. So yeah.
So there's a hole that is basically this T-Rex robot like clawing at the dirt and biting at it to like create a tunnel. There's also a hole going up. You can't quite see what it is, but you can see some kind of like silver tentacle thing just outside of your field of vision. Like you see like a articulated tentacle arm.
Is it robotic or like fleshy?
As far as you can tell, it's a robotic arm.
Is it moving?
Yes.
He makes a very adult comment about having seen something like this before. Then he's going to point his gun straight up at the tentacle and pull the trigger.
I want you to pull the trigger with a snag because it's a weird angle to do this from.
That's
even
fine.
With your expertise, it's a weird angle.
That's fine. I didn't fire all of my shots last time. Actually, no, I'm not gonna do. Yeah, I'm just gonna fire the cannon. That's fine.
Okay. That is a 6, which is.
It's probably
Are
a
you doing-
miss.
It's a miss, but are you doing multiple?
Yeah.
just
Every time I do an attack action with this, I get to roll 4 attacks. I only do damage if I hit twice.
Okay.
But since I have extra attacks, that means I can literally roll 8 times.
Let's see if you can at least get a green, because the 6 is red. So you got a 16. With the 16, I'll give you this. It's a weird angle, but it does get up the hole, and it bounces off the orange shield. Like it's apparently it's outside of the weird orange bubble, but apparently you're on the opposite side of the city from how far you traveled. So you know that now.
All right, so like I'm going to assume most of the bullets just like hit wall through the hole, and only like a couple of them get through. Because you're like, okay, there's a tentacle monster outside the barrier.
That would be really fun to
what?
just have as part of like the commercial, by the way. Just that without like explaining it at all.
Out of context, there's a giant tentacle. Well,
yeah, so Brick, yes, you've just heard there's a giant tentacle monster. So
that doesn't sound good.
I will say that because I'd like to go in actual initiative order. Gabe, it is technically your turn because you were a 10, so I'd like you to be able to go next. So
Okay. I'm just going to ranger up and try to hit it again with the power axe.
if your targeting is higher, you could transform your power axe into its energy cannon version. I don't know if one of them is higher.
My might is higher.
Okay, yeah, then just
I'm looking
whack
at
yeah.
I'm looking at a D6 melee versus a D2 range.
Yeah, you want the D6 melee. You like your axe to be an axe.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Hey, there we go.
That's a 15, and though that doesn't mean its toughness, it is higher than the evasion. So you actually pin it down along with Philip. So whoever is next gets an edge to their shot. And the person that is next that gets an edge to their shot is going to be Lazarus, whatever you want to do. Now's a fun time to do something fun with this weird robot, twisted alpha T-Rex thing.
I have technology, specialization in robots. I would really like to shut it down. It's got to be an
Give me
off
that
function.
technology roll. Also, you also did just hear the Green Ranger scream about Tentacle Monster, which I don't know what that does for you in canon, but it's never good.
I'm bothered by that, but the immediate threat is the giant alpha T-Rex. I'm believing that if I can get it shut down, I can figure out why it's changed, and then maybe bring it back to our side is my step following it. And that's what I'm saying out loud. I'm going to try to shut it down, so maybe we could bring the A5 back to our team. And then here's my roll. I'm spending a personal power to edge this.
Great. I believe in you.
$21.
Nice.
So you have a choice to make. Because that beats both its toughness and its willpower. You can either shut it down to try to reboot it, or you can just destroy it just to make sure.
Shut it down and reboot it.
So you are able to shut it down. It stops moving, and you hear the beep that means like a reboot, but there's no timestamp on how long the reboot is going to take.
I tell everyone, I'm going to make sure this comes back online. Maybe we can get some information on it. Go help us, Oz, with the tentacle thing.
All right. So we can keep these initiatives because so all Rangers, when you are morphed, have like a really great jumping ability. So I'm not going to make you roll unless you really want to roll. But you can go up through the hole if you'd like. Or do all of you just want to stand in the subway amazed at the tentacles that are robot tentacles?
I looked at Jules and, Red's leading.
That would be Jane is Red. Yeah.
I'm sorry.
I'm Jules on the other stream, so it's fine. I answer to both. Jane is going to go through the hole to help, seeing that this situation is okay.
Yep. Oz is the first one there, so he's just gonna jump through the hole.
Great. Yeah, so you hop up. So here's what you see immediately when you hop up out of the hole to get up to whatever is in the next level. It is a fancy, beautiful, large ballroom with like the shiniest checker brocade floor you've ever seen. Beautiful glass roof. Really fun exotic plants all around the side. It looked like there was like a party going on. There's like a buffet table that's flipped over. There's a whole bunch of different colored masks that are on the floor, like people were wearing them. But outside of that, there is a spaceship that is trying to nudge and is pounding against the orange bubble, causing it to shimmer, trying to get through. This is a black spaceship, and it has 6 gray silver tentacles with little claws on the end. I think Brick, John, you might know this. I don't know if Brick would know this. You know the Power Ranger comics, right?
Yeah.
So, did you read the Justice League Power Ranger crossover?
I did not.
Okay, so I don't know how else to describe this. For anyone that is not a DC fan, this squid ship is the ship of Brainiac 5.
Yeah.
Thought so. I was like, I bet it's a Brainiac ship.
Yep.
It is a Brainiac ship. That's right. This is a crossover with the Justice League Power Ranger one-off comic. Yeah. Unfortunately, that means this is Brainiac. So, across all universes, Brainiac is very dangerous, and unfortunately, the second Brainiac sees Rangers, he sends out um, dark black alpha ghost alphas, and there are many of them, and they say, "Oh, more Rangers to eat." We're just gonna actually. I'm gonna roll for a new initiative. Echo, come on. Oh, I didn't.
These
look
aren't
at
flying
that.
monkeys. What happened to the Wicked Witch of the West?
Oh, I did it twice. Okay.
I mean, I've heard of party crashers, but this is just out of control.
This is also for anyone that has an alpha unit. This is unsettling. This is like an inverse universe alpha. Like there's no, in so much as they have like Geordie LaForge visors, they tend to have life and they're awkward and cute. These are just kind of menacing and rigid, and they seem to hover instead of walk. And you get the sense that if Brainiac had had time, they'd kind of be see-through, which is not very crazy, sexy, cool.
It's basically
and
like
so
Pet Cemetery.
it's like Pet Cemetery, but with robots.
Yeah.
It's not ideal, and there are many of them. But now the picture's going to start becoming clear, especially once Lazarus gets up top. So we're just going to start, unless somebody wants to, I will give you an opportunity if you want to re-roll your initiative, but if everybody wants to keep theirs, you totally can.
Oh, I want a new one.
Oh yeah.
If you want a new initiative, please roll me your new initiative. And let me know what it is, because I'm going to forget.
If
I
we
feel
roll
that
worse,
I
can
should-
we keep the old one?
If you roll worse, I will let you keep the old one, yes.
Yeah, sure. What have I got to lose on that then?
I feel I should re-roll my initiative because I'm outside dealing with the modified A5.
Yes, you don't know what's going on. Let me know if your initiative has changed.
My initiative is. Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Okay. I have changed from a 10 to an 18.
All right, that's fine.
I changed from a 3 to a 5.
I changed from
That's still higher.
Yeah, a 2 to an 11.
My first
Alright.
roll, I rolled it with snag, so I redid it, and I'm now at a 1.
Oh, that's a, so you can use a story point to reroll a 1 on initiative if you want to, unless you want to be a 1. I'm not.
I want to be a 1
tell you how to
because
do it.
I'm going to step away from the computer, and 2, I'm outside of the room. So this works out canonically with what's really going on.
All right.
Oz is a
Brick's
15.
new. Okay. Brick's
All right.
new is 13.
Okay. That's great. You all did much better than the Alpha bots did. I will let you know that this is kind of a putty scenario where they may not be as powerful as an all monster, but there are more of them, so they could do more chaotic damage. We'll see how this goes. This is going to be a lot of fun. Not for you, but for me. So we're gonna start with. Actually, I'm gonna re-roll mine because that's the same one as Philip. So, all right. Wants it to have a very low. That's fine with me. Okay. So Oz, you are first. There are.
Actually, I believe Gabriel's got higher than me now.
is
He's
Gabe
got an
first?
18.
Yes, I'm gonna rewrite this as we go. Gabe, you have an 18. So what would you like to do?
Okay, so just a question: how does like multiple attacks work? In this
You will. I personally have grouped them like I do the putties, where I've grouped them into like groups of 3. So if you hit 1, you'll take 3 down in like a fail swoop. Or if it's like really close to it, you might take one down. So that's kind of like a GM might do it a different way. So
Okay, yeah, understand then. Okay. In that case, then I'm just gonna start hewing about me left, right, and center with the axe.
great. I think you should do that.
Okay.
And how did we do? Got a 16. You hew through them, kind of like butter. You hit three, and you kind of slice through their middle. They do something. So in this universe, it's called grid blink, but it's essentially teleportation. If you
Right.
hit them, they teleport like they were a hologram. But
Right.
unfortunately, three more start to slide down a tentacle.
Right.
Um,
And I shout out, "Let's go, Rangers!"
which is very appropriate. And then that should be. Okay. So I have everyone correctly now. So Oz, you are up next.
Okay, so since I am starting standing still, Oz is going to go ahead and aim to take that upshift. And then he's just gonna, since I have multiple attacks, so he's just gonna focus on a group of putties and just unload, let his cannon do its thing.
That is wise. They are mapped as such too that like we can say that if you hit them, you've just kind of lined up your shots with where they are. You got an 8, so you did not hit. Oh, there you go. A 23, that does hit.
I'm assuming if I do enough damage, I'm just gonna take out an entire group.
Yes, you will be able to do that. Got a 16, which will work.
All right.
And you don't have to do the fourth one. We'll say you hit the 3. You do hit the 3, so you send them down, but they teleport, and again, there's 3 more sliding down. One of the claws is kind of made a hole through the bubble, and so they're kind of coming in through the orange bubble, which is not ideal.
Awesome.
Philip, your turn. Weird, bad mutant alphas. It's bad. It's not good. You don't want that. That's a no.
Hey guys, I need you to get a hold of yourselves now. And he's going. Do the shark hands shoot like lasers or anything?
No. But they do chomp down. You're very much an up close and personal sort of warrior.
Alrighty. Well then, to the putties, or to the alphas, I guess. And he's going to take a swipe at one.
Yes, please do.
I got a 12.
You got a 12. That is not enough. They do not get a hold of themselves, and now they're closer to holding on to you, which is not ideal. Jane, someone took the adorable Alpha 5 and has made weird mutated monsters out of them.
Some monsters.
Also, they've threatened to eat you, which alphas don't have mouths, so I don't know what that's about, but it's not great.
That's rude. Is it my turn?
It is your turn.
Oh, okay.
I don't think so.
No.
Yeah, I
Oh,
don't-
did I miss? See, this is what happens. I missed someone. So, Brick, you can go while Jane is thinking. Sorry about that.
It's okay. My initiative was 13, which I'm pretty sure is higher than
It is. I rewrote them, and then in rewriting them, I failed to go back to you. So you can totally go, Brick. I apologize. That's my bad.
Cool. So just to be clear, they every time we defeat them, they come back down from like the tentacles.
Yes, you have seen that twice now.
Okay, is there any way? Does my ranger jump get me up to the ship, or like would I have to like run up a tentacle or something?
Yeah, you'd have to run up a tentacle. You'd also have to be outside of the protection of the bubble, which there are 6 tentacles, so who knows what's going to happen while you're climbing up one. But you can try
Okay.
it. So I would say your sprint would modify your jump, so you'd be able to get to the claw opening now, and then your next sprint would be whatever I decide to do for you getting up the tentacle to get to the ship.
Are these tentacles? Do these tentacles have hit points?
They might. What are you thinking? You never know until you try. That's always what I say in life. You never know until you try.
Well, I'm thinking if I can't get up to the ship, I might as well try and get rid of the tentacles themselves.
That's fair.
So I think I keep letting my finger off of the button. I think I'm going to aim for like the one of the tentacles that is coming out of the ship and see if I can like destroy it or that sort of thing.
Sure, you betcha. The toughness of the tentacle claw is 19.
Oh yikes! Okay.
Brainiac loves his tentacles. What can you say?
I received a 19 on my d20, and on my modifier, I got a 5. So that sounds like a 24 to me.
Great. So, are you shooting at the little claw opening? Are you trying to shoot at the tentacle itself? What are you actually aiming for?
Where are the putties coming out of? Are they coming out of the hole?
The mutated Alpha 5 are like sliding down the tentacles in so much as they slide. And then they like just hop back onto the battlefield. Like it's like
Okay,
a
yeah. So
fun.
I'm gonna aim for the tentacle directly then.
Okay, you do that, and you manage to block off that for any fellow ranger any fellow ranger after this point that destroys a putty will not have them respawn, essentially, which could work out really well for Jane. Because it's your turn.
So many mute buttons. Okay. How high up are the tentacles?
They are very close to the ground. It is
Okay.
becoming clear that Brainiac has invested himself in trying to get into this city.
Okay.
Like, bad.
Was Brick able to destroy one of the tentacles or no?
You can't tell if it's destroyed. It
Okay.
just is no longer inside of the bubble, which is
Okay.
helpful. So,
Okay.
like, the alphas can't seem to get through the bubble unless he's broken through the bubble.
Okay. I'm gonna swing at the closest tentacle to me to
Go
try
ahead
and
and do
get
that.
it to let go.
And 19 is what you have to hit.
22. Yes.
There you go. You get one tentacle out, so now all 6 are kind of outside the bubble. But then you hear the slam, you hear wham, as like all 6 of the tentacles are now beating on the shimmering globe to try to get through again. And it's at this point that the alphas now go, and so are going to take aim at each of you. And if this might roll is higher than your willpower, I'll let you know what happens then.
You are
They got a
so into
6.
willpower right now.
It's very useful for this particular thing. So if your willpower is 15 or below, how is that for everybody's willpower?
I have a question.
I have an answer for you.
Is this an emotional attack?
This is Yeah, this is an emotional attack, yeah.
Awesome. Any attack or effect that targets me emotionally automatically suffers snag.
Hey.
Okay, that's fine. I will roll it again, and we'll take the lower of the two rolls for you. So 16 was the lower of the two rolls.
Yep, that one's still going to affect me.
Okay, so the
It affects Brick
Alphas-
as well.
Uh, anyone that it affects, the alphas reach out and they squeeze onto your arm, and for a moment, all of your allies look like alphas. And so you're not actually sure who to attack. The only person this wouldn't affect, because they're not in the room, is Lazarus. What would you like to do? The reboot is taking, even though it's only 6 seconds of combat time, it always feels longer. The reboot is taking a long time.
Realizing that the other Power Rangers are in there fighting without me, this reboot is taking a little bit longer. Is there any way I can diagnose truly what changes have been done to this A5 at this point while looking at it, because it's not like moving around and trying to kill me?
You kind of surmise, because I'm going to hand wave this a little bit. You surmise by the dots on its forehead, they look like the pattern for a psychic villain that you remember. You haven't quite connected the dots to Brainiac in this universe, but it's not out of the realm possibilities that a Brainiac-like being exists
Understandable.
somewhere.
So,
So you're like, this is bad. This is tech that should not be messing with an alpha, especially.
okay. So that does not lead me to any easy answer to... This gives me an understanding what's going on, but does not lead me to an easy answer of stripping the influence away from the alphas.
Yeah, you're not sure if it's even possible. If it's a Brainiac-like being, then they have such high technological power that they could remake an alpha from scratch in their own image.
All right, so there needs to be... So there's probably being controlled from some other location, and that location has to be... All right, so my time here is not valuable, so I'm leaving here to enter the room to assist everyone else.
I will give you... so sprint in this game is basically 2 moves, which means it takes your standard action. So I will give you the ability to get up in the hole to get into combat, and you'll have a free action, essentially to assess the situation, and if you can think of a skill check on the fly, you can try for it. But now there are ghost alphas. There is a 6-tentacled ship trying to break through the orange protective shimmer bubble that keeps the city away from the valley. It's not good. It's not good.
Is any of my teammates in current jeopardy from these ghost AIs? Ghost alphas. Are they like stuck in combat with them?
Everyone kind of looks to be on the same scale that you can tell. So
None of them are like
No one
engaged in grappling or anything like that.
Well, aren't me and Oz like being like held on by 2 of them?
you've been touched, but it's not like a grapple. It's more like it's messing with your armor and your like eyesight.
Gotcha.
It's not traditional grapple.
Then
What about-
I would. Then the only thing I could think to do is to try to ascertain where, if I can see where we're at, if that orange field generates from nearby, and if there was any way I could get to the generator or device generating it to like crank it up so it's going to be harder for this ship to bust through.
Give me a technology roll, and we'll see if you ascertain that.
My robotic specialization, does it apply?
I think it should. I'm a big fan of pro specializations.
I got a 21.
You got a 21. If you spend some time, you think you understand this tech well enough that you could reinforce it. You're not quite sure how because you're thinking on the fly, but it's worth a try to, and it may do more for your teammates than anything else because that seems to be the issue is that this flying saucer with tentacles is breaking through. And that seems to be the problem.
So right now, that was my free skill action you gave me when I got to the top of the tunnel. So at the beginning of the next round, I'll just make a perception test of some type to see if I can find the source of the shield generator. I'm done at this time. But I have a question. Earlier, you described my character as wearing a hood and a mask. Do I have the normal like Power Ranger style mask and then a hood over it, or am I wearing like a mask across my face and then a hood over it with the Power Ranger style armor?
It's a mask across your face and then a hood over it. It does have a toughness setting for combat, so it does become more rigid and more plastic than fabric, but it spends a lot of time being more fabric than it does. Like,
Cool.
It's more like the Ninja Force outfits, right?
It's true. It's true. Gabe, it is your turn.
All right.
Yes.
What is the size of this room?
The size of the room is large. It's a very large ballroom. It's larger than any ballroom you've been in.
How big is this ship?
The ship is a little. The bubble creates a little bit of an optical illusion, but it's large enough that it's not quite medium, but not large. So it's not quite as large as the ballroom.
Okay. What effect would summoning my Zord have?
The Zord takes 3 turns to get there, and also you're in a weird time and place, so the Zord may not be able to reach you, is the other part of it.
Fair enough. Okay. Are there visible engines on this ship?
It is a ship, so it probably has an engine somewhere. If you shoot at it, you might get the
exhaust ports. Do we see exhaust ports and stuff?
No, the claw openings were as close to exhaust ports as you could see.
Okay.
It does have, so Brainiac ship does have like
it's not the skull.
Windows.
It's not the skull.
It's not the skull. It's definitely more squid-like than skull-like. It has like weird viewing window things because Brainiac is all about the aesthetics. So.
Oh yeah. Am I able to jump up onto the top of the ship?
No, that would be beyond, because you'd have to jump, get through the orange thing in time, and then that would be beyond your skill as a ranger.
Okay. And you did say that with the action of somebody, I forgot who, I apologize, that if we take out ghost alphas, they're not going to be respawning.
It's true, but if your willpower was less than
my willpower is a 13.
Okay, so you might also be swinging at your comrades, because now everyone kind of looks like an alpha, so you're not actually sure who you're swinging at.
Gotcha. Okay, then I'm going to... The tentacles are still out as it's trying to batter through?
Yeah, they're just trying to batter through, so it's
I'm going to start swinging at tentacles.
All right, please give me that might roll.
Yeah.
It's a 7. You were a little shy about it because you didn't know if you were going to be able to get through the orange part or not. So you've learned that you can. It's just kind of the jumping and re-entry was not your buddy on that. Oz, it is your turn.
Excellent. All right. So at the moment, I'm surrounded by ghost alphas. They're all over the place.
They're all over the place. You don't know where any of the other rangers went if your willpower was below that number. So now it just looks like you alone in this ballroom in the future in the City of Hope, and a whole bunch of ghost alphas.
Right, and I just saw one ghost alpha jump towards the ship and then come back down.
Yes.
All right. Is there... What would I need to try to roll to break out of? Maybe an alertness roll to break out of this? To confirm? Because this is very obvious that there's something wrong.
You would need a culture roll.
Cultural.
I won't make you do a specification for grid lore, but most of my culture rolls are grid lore.
Okay.
So it's just a culture roll. Whatever specialization you have, go for it.
This is
It's all about the heart.
still an emotional attack, yes?
It's somewhere between emotion and hypnotism, which is why I hesitated. But this is really so. Any culture grid lore for me is really kind of about the heart. It has kind of a Captain Planet feel to it. So yeah.
Okay. The reason I'm asking is because I have an edge. I have edge when trying to overcome like emotional effects.
Then give me that edge.
Excellent.
I also want to do a time check while that roll is happening because I want to make sure that we have plenty of time to do the giveaway.
We are at 2 hours 51 minutes right now.
Okay.
Nope.
And so I just want to make sure that everybody has a chance to enter the giveaway that wants to enter. Use the Twitch chat hashtag RenPC for one entry, 100 bits per one entry. Subscribe for 7 entries, and you can win Jennifer Brozak's fabulous Battletech Iron Dawn novel. It's everything you want. It will keep you from thinking all your friends have turned into ghost alphas, or a money back guarantee. But you get it for free, so that's where the money back guarantee comes into play. So that is.
I got a 7, so no.
That is a 7. Brainiac is strong. That's a real problem having Brainiac in this universe, even if you haven't quite connected the dots yet. Ghost alphas will haunt your nightmares, though, which is not ideal. You don't want that.
Yeah. Since I'm surrounded by enemies, can I actually like separate myself from the group?
Yeah, you can totally like move it's a big enough ballroom you can move and separate yourself.
Is there like a balcony or like a catwalk?
There is a column that doesn't have anything attached to it that just kind of hanging out if you want to climb up on top of the column.
Yeah, I'm gonna, because I have a gun. I have a big cannon. I'm gonna jump onto the column so that I can get a better idea of what's going on, and I'm gonna observe people's actions from here, because there's no way my allies have become ghost putties or ghost alphas. Something is going on. I'm aware of this. I just don't know who's who.
All right, Brick, it is your turn.
Is there anybody that isn't affected by this? Jane. Oh, thank God.
Unfortunately, you think Jane is the ghost putty or ghost alpha, so that's
Well,
not
right, but
waiting for you.
I'm assuming
Technically-
that like if I call out to Jane, she'll be able to kind of like identify herself.
Yeah, I don't see why not. No one said people can identify themselves in this spell. Yeah, go for it.
Do you call out to me?
I do. I'm kind of like just Jane. Sorry, maybe I shouldn't even say her name. It doesn't matter. There's no one around. Jane, are you? Jane, where are you?
I'm over here, and like I wave my grappler in the air, and I call out.
Do I see her?
You see one of the ghost alphas waving at you.
Okay. Everybody looks like ghost alphas. I can't. I've been like hypnotized or something.
Well, that explains why everybody's acting so weird.
I will give you a bonus story point to one of our next things and an edge if you will use I while you are Ghost Alpha communicating with Rick, just for added measure of confusion.
Yeah, absolutely. Aye, that sounds weird, Ranger.
Brick is gonna kind of like shake his head and just be like, "What?
I'm kidding. I'm
Oh, that
kidding.
even that?
It's
Oh,
fine.
okay.
Am I able to point out where the other Rangers are to him? Or do I have to wait until my turn to do that?
It just looks like an alpha unit is like waving their arm. So you can, but
Okay.
Okay, I have a question about like the train again. So
yeah.
we're in like a ballroom, right? And so it's like
Yes.
the roof of the ballroom is like gone, right?
It's a fun glass feature, so you can't tell where the roof begins and the pulsating orange shield ends.
Okay, so the
It's very
pulsating
glamorous when
shield
it's not.
and
Yeah.
the roof are like one and the same, sort of.
They're very close to each other. Yeah.
Okay. And are there still any tentacles like in the room, or did we knock those all out when we were fighting them earlier?
They are two of them are kind of offline and recalculating, but four of them are definitely beating against the shield, trying to get in.
Okay. So two of them are down and the rest of them are outside beating on the thing.
Yes.
Okay. Um I mean, I guess the best way to do this is to like start moving towards the I don't want to hit any alphas cuz I don't know who's who and who's not. I just know where Jane is. So I guess I can have everybody who's a ranger kind of like make their presence known, right? So I can like ask I'm going to kind of scream out like any ranger that's in this area, I need you to wave so I know who not to hit.
I mean, the unfortunate part of asking that is that they can tell you, but also by the time that you get around to next turn, everyone will have moved again. So you can totally do that. But it will not make combat easy for easy for you.
No. Okay, so which okay. So you know what? Never mind. Forget that. I'm going to start making my way like climbing up towards the ship. I'm going to tell Jane that like I think that the only way for us to um beat these things is to deactivate them from inside of the ship. So I feel like we have to like get in the ship.
I mean, yeah, but how are we going to safely do that? I think we need to get the tentacles off to stop him from getting in. But I'll cover you if you want to try to get in the ship.
Okay, I'm gonna take out my blade blaster and I'm gonna try and slice one of the tentacles to see if that works.
Okay, you can do that with a finesse with
Finesse.
a snag, only because you're having to jump and do this. They're not close enough that you can just like you're gonna have to jump. This is gonna be a move and a slash. I'm all for it.
$15.
15 will get it where you're like now clinging to the side of the tentacle outside of the bubble. And you are morphed, which is great, but you are also now clinging to a tentacle on the side of a bubble in a weird desert world. So I don't know how you handle that emotionally, but you're making progress, which is good.
Cool.
Yes. Or rather warm because it's Philip, it's your turn.
Uh, Philip is going to kind of drop his hands after he sees that everybody everybody looks the same, and so he's gonna kind of intuit that he also probably looks like an alpha, and probably the safest way to make sure that he doesn't hit anybody that's he's not supposed to is to not swing at all unless people are swinging at him. So with that in mind, he's just gonna he's gonna be like, all right, just just try not to be too aggressive, guys. All right, we'll figure this out. And he's gonna kind of like make his way through the putties, and he's gonna try to make it to the one of the control panels or the ship or something like that. And then he's only going to attack putties that attack him, or attack alphas that attack him.
Give me a persuasion roll to see how far you make it in trying to be diplomatic with your fellow ghost alphas.
And you said, which test was it again? Persuasion?
This is persuasion under social.
Alrighty. I'm just rolling terrible today. And then a D2. So I got an 11.
Great. They don't believe you. You are not their leader. They pile upon you. You are prone. And there are 3 alpha bots just piled on top of you as though you were playing football, which is not ideal.
All right.
Not ideal.
Cool beans.
Okay, so Jane?
Yes.
It is now your turn.
Okay. Are we trying to knock the tentacles off, or are we trying to get into the ship, Brick?
Okay, so this is how I see it. Until Lazarus gets a chance to get to the shields, and like make them stronger or whatever. The only way to like stop these attacks from happening is to like, I feel like, get into the ship. So it's like, I feel like the ship is where we have to start headed. Because if we attack the tentacles, eventually either they come back online and more reinforcements of the putties come, or we like stop them from the source. So I personally think that like the other rangers can handle the putties, or like you guys can handle the putties down here, but somebody has to go up and into the ship.
Well, I'm not gonna let you go up there by yourself. So, what are my options for trying to get up into the ship?
Well, technically, your grappler allows for maneuverability of enemies. You've never tried to maneuver yourself, so that is an option. You could just go with the classic ranger jump, and then you would be below where Brick is on a different tentacle, but you would have to switch out your grappler for your blade blaster, which there would be a moment between that when you would just be free moving in the air. So you can try it. I'm not going to stop you, but it's going to be pretty complex with a high rate of failure.
Okay. So I would not easily be able to get to where Brick is right now.
No, that you definitely would not get to where Brick is. You would be on a lower part of a different tentacle.
Okay.
I have a question.
I have an answer. Maybe. Who knows?
Because of Oz's current position, because Jane has essentially identified herself, could he be like, "I'll give you a boost to help her get up higher"? Because he
sure.
could kind of, yeah.
But then she'd spend this turn getting to you because she's not where you are right now.
Okay.
Yes.
But actually, I have heroic intervention, so I can spend a power point to move 15 feet. Would that get me there quickly in this turn?
Yes. But if you're going to get to where Oz is, there's only one column, and Oz is standing on it, so you'd be hovering in the air for a very short period of time, which you do not have flight. And to get to the tentacles, you'd be on a
so the whole
different
point is
tentacle.
right. The whole point for Oz is to give extra height for the jump. So she would like jump up, and then he would do like the whole like stirrup with his, because he's holding onto a big gun. She could use that as a platform. He would push her up as she jumps to get her up higher in the air.
So here's what we're
Better
going to
distance.
do. Let's do an athletics roll with an edge, like it's lend assistance, and we'll go from there.
Okay.
Because I can't figure out mechanically how else to do it, so that's how we're going to do it.
I got an 11.
You got an 11. You get to the bubble, and you see what looks like a control panel as you're kind of like sliding down, because the bubble doesn't want to harm any rangers, so it's not letting you just free fall and crash back into the earth, which would do damage.
Okay.
But you see a command console on the other side of the room where Lazarus hasn't quite seen yet.
Okay, I'm gonna call out. I found the control panel. And would I be able to use, since I have my grappler out, would I be able to use it to like clamp down on like a tentacle or something so that I'm not falling?
It doesn't really clamp. It's
Okay.
because it's not quite a grappler in that manner. That would be, if you want to give me a might roll, we can see it'll just have a really high difficulty.
I can do that. I got another 11.
At 11, that's not. So you kind of make that like that scratchy sound, like you're on a windshield. You're, as you're coming down the bubble.
Like
You
a
attempted
Wile E.
it, which
Coyote
is-
sliding down.
Yes.
Creeps
Awesome.
on the
It
glass.
It is the alpha's turn. They have noticed brick on the tentacle, so they have actually stopped for this turn, and they're just standing there as if waiting for an order. So they are not going to attack this round. Lazarus, it is your turn.
With I have not been affected by this change in identity. I still recognize everybody as everyone. And hearing Jane call out, I found it. I'm going to just use my, ability to look at what she's looking at, where she's looking at. Maybe she makes a hand gesture to where I need to be. And now it's trying to figure out a way to get from where I'm at to where this control panel is at. Is there a possibility of maybe doing as they were describing, some sort of jump boost and get thrown in a direction, or maybe a tentacle I can then jump on, swing past like acrobatically to land, because ninja-esque style?
The good news is that you can essentially sprint. So sprint is basically 2 move actions. So it's your move plus your standard. So you can sprint in the direction to find kind of a command console that is pink and is very pleasant looking, kind of posh, not utilitarian at all. And then it's a free action to actually interact with the computer. So
Sounds good.
you can do an interaction, do a technology roll for me.
And since I have one personal PowerPoint left, I am definitely going to edge this.
That's perfectly fine. That's what they're for during one shots.
Thank goodness I did. I got a 10 for a critical success.
You got a 10. Yes, and that works out really well because the computer recognizes ranger to ranger communications, and because you are a Blue Ranger, Zelos Ray has been like watching you guys as you've been doing this, trying to help out. Um, and you noticed certain protocols for defense. I'm gonna let you make a choice: Protocol 1, Protocol 2, Protocol 3.
Are there any descriptions on said protocols 1, 2, and 3?
Wouldn't that be great?
Yes, it would, but there's not, is there?
Nope, just Protocol 1, Security Protocol 1, 2, or 3.
Okay, I see
You
what
can
you're
ask
doing.
Brick later. You can ask Brick later about the usefulness of things in Rangerdom, telling you exactly what you need when you need them.
But I also have something as a player that will make supersede this. Since I am a Power Ranger, can I make a culture roll to know which is more important? Higher numbers representing higher threat, or lower numbers meaning higher threat situations?
I will let you do that culture roll. Always and forever.
I got a 14, so success.
Got a 14. That's great. The middle option is always the safest option.
Middle is number 2. And I say
Middle is
quickly,
number 2.
I will say it out to the team. I'm pushing a button. I do not know what it does, but I believe with my expertise, this is our best choice.
Is it a jolly candy-like button?
It's a virtual button, so there's no like physical actual button to push. It's very sad. As I'm going to describe what's happening with this button, is a bit to as our tech, who's also fabulously playing Jane Russell. I know we are getting closer to time, so anyone who has not entered, now is the time to enter as I explain what's going to happen. And so basically, you hit button number 2, and something called the Core Initiative Protocol goes off, and you feel your blue energy glow and connect in a straight line to Philip's blue energy farther in the room. Philip's blue is slightly lighter than your blue because it's much closer to a shark, very aquatic, kind of ripply. And that kind of zooms around the room and breaks a couple of alphas as that blue energy hits Gabe's power axe. Gabe, I want you to. I'm not going to make a roll for this. Describe this. You get the sensation of you need to actually pretend like you're slicing your axe.
Wait a minute. I need to slice with the axe right now.
Yeah, you like it feels really heavy in your hand. Like you definitely need to like slice with your axe right now. You don't have to roll for it. You're going to succeed.
I will do so then.
That slice creates an arc around the room with kind of this black, purplish, white energy, because the black energy in Rangerdom is always, it's never truly onyx black. Yeah. Jane, you feel one end of that arc come toward you. And you catch it in your hand as if it's second nature, and it is in the shape of there's like a little cobra face, so it's telling you who it goes to next if you want to throw it up to the Cobra Green Ranger.
I do.
All right. So you should probably tell him you're throwing something at him.
Hey Green, catch this. Throw it up.
All right. You see this as a red lightning bolt as it comes up to your hand. And as you look down, you realize you're looking at basically a configuration of a bow, and the colors have changed, so they're all pink now. And so this is where I need Brick Kerrigan to make targeting with an edge, as the Cobra Ranger outfits this energy with their gun. and they're going to shoot a pink bow up to you, and you're going to use targeting.
Real quick, you got this power. Use the PowerPoint and give a teammate within 60 feet a word of encouragement. What mechanical effect does that have?
That will allow to do with a shift up plus an edge for targeting.
Okay.
You can
I
totally
just want to say,
that.
you really don't need to. I got a 30.
Okay,
Yeah,
great. So
but
that's
this-
fine.
Yeah, but this
That's
is feeling
not
like the. Okay, never mind.
You can still say it. What would
No,
you say?
go ahead. Go ahead.
I was going to do it because this is feeling like the the final master stroke, and there needs to be an epic total for something like this, in my opinion. But it's okay.
I agree. No, I agree.
I was gonna say something. I was gonna say something when he threw the bow.
That's in the 5-hour game is when you get time to do all of your epic battle cries. But this is the truncated version of that.
Okay.
But
Then I will. Then I will do. You got this, and give Brick the word of encouragement. It's like, take him out, Brick.
all right. And with that 30 plus, because that's just how Brick rolls in targeting, there is a giant pink lightning bolt in your hand, Thor style. It's too big for a bow. You got to do it manually, but you're really good at throwing stuff because you play baseball in Becoming Mighty and Morphin / Sentinels the senior year, now in the Alternating Archives. So you rear back your arm, and all the Rangers see an impressive flash of color merge with the orange sphere, and you just whap it. And you briefly see like a hologram of Brainiac's big, ugly head for a moment as he goes, "Oh, we're not done yet." But he says that as his essentially machine is flung back into space, and to help with this Power Ranger energy, Brick, you are able to push off of the tentacle and fall back into Oz's arms so you don't harm yourself. And so what happens is as all of the alphas start to disappear, and as the alphas disappear, people begin to reappear in the ballroom. They were apparently mid-party because they're all dressed in fancy party outfits in a variety of Ranger styles and costumes from across the eras. Apparently this is a big thing in this city. And they kind of come back in that end of Little Mermaid after Ursula's defeated, people coming back, teleporting in kind of way. And you are welcomed by Zelos Ray, who is able to come back from the armory now that the lock-in... He was like locked in the armory, so he couldn't come out to do anything to help. But now that the things are over and the bubble is fine, Zelos comes out and is able to thank you and kind of introduce you around to the city. If there's anything you want to see, he can show you some of it. He doesn't want to mess with your timeline, but you basically can hang out in the city for a while. The pink mansion of festivity is next to the yellow philosophy area where they have debates about the meaning of humanity and art and things. There is a Blue Ranger university people go to. There is a community services area the Red Rangers hang out in. There is green areas for home. There's purple. There's all basic spectrums are represented. And then orange is kind of this massive defense complex. But they can also, Zelos has the authority to be able to send you back wherever and whenever you wish to go, as long as that's appropriate for your timeline. So is there anything else you'd like to do in the Valley of Hope / City of Tomorrow while you are here, before we figure out who won Battletech Iron Dawn by Jennifer Brozek?
Oz is definitely going to be like, good job going up to the team, good job.
Yep. Good game.
Work with a team, so this is a nice change of pace.
Yeah, good game, everybody. Like like pats everybody on the butt except Jane, because yeah, he knows better.
I appreciate that.
So Jane, by the way,
Yes.
apparently these little red T-Rexes are part of a line. All of the dinosaur ranger types all have little robot Poochie style, not stuffed animals, little robot companion people can have that they enjoy. So you can't take one home with you because it's futuristic tech,
Oh,
but you can hang out with one for a couple hours while you're here.
okay. I guess that'll do. I was hoping I was going to
Can't disrupt the timeline. Zelos is like, I know, but you can't disrupt the timeline. You're probably not going to be the last ranger to ask, but no.
Can she just get like the shell without the interior? That's not super futuristic, right?
No, the shell is part of it, so you can't take one. This is the future where it's not really a shell. It's all part of it. It's like a skin, as much as anything.
Okay. Well, it's very adorable.
Can you make a shell then? I don't know.
Zelos is like, that's more than we have in an afternoon, and also you do have to go back to your own timeline eventually. They do need you there. But yeah, so thank you for saving the future. For all of you who have not read the Power Rangers Justice League crossover, I have spoiled it a little bit, but it's a fantastic once-over, and I was glad to incorporate it into the Panajohn cinematic Power Ranger universe. I'm also excited for whoever won Iron Dawn. Isabits, who is it? Who has won?
Rio Pell won Iron Dawn. So congratulations, Rio. I will get with you to get your information so I can get that sent out to you.
I want to thank everyone for being here. I hope you had a good time. I'm glad I was able to bust through and do a Power Ranger one-shot and introduce more people a little bit into the mechanics. I like Power Rangers and the Essence 20 system because I feel like it's not quite as crunchy. I feel like, I don't know, how did people playing this for the first time, did you feel like it was an accessible system to get into? Did you understand the rhythm of it a little bit?
It's a pretty accessible system. It takes a little bit of getting used to, but yeah, I mean, like I said, Power Rangers is not my jam, but G.I. Joe and Transformers definitely are, and I know those are both tied in using the same system.
And they do have a field manual, so now you can combine the Power Rangers with G.I. Joe and Transformers. That is like a thing that you can buy now from Essence 20.
Yeah.
And if
And
you're
My Little Pony, I think, right?
Yes, and if you were in a spending mood, don't forget to visit our Etsy and Patreon shop. So stay tuned. I think I should probably know this because I've been on the planning committee, but I want everyone to stay tuned after our half-an-hour break for
Tales of Zadia with Jen
Tales of
Polly.
Zadia Lost Oasis. This is Jen Polly's fabulous. I don't think it's futuristic. It's a floating city in danger, and there's like a Indiana Jones archaeology vibe. So everyone stay tuned for that, and I want to thank all the players for being here. I want to thank you for watching, and stick around for more fun on the Streamathon. We're here all weekend, and it's a party, and you're all invited. Your friends are invited, your families are invited, your enemies are invited. Just don't let them win anything, or maybe win something and make them into friends. Who knows? But thank you everyone for stopping by, and we'll see you again with more, well, not Power Rangers. I'll be back at 6 p.m. Eastern, right? 6 p.m. Eastern for...
No.
9 p.m.
No.
Eastern?
No.
6 p.m.
I'm sorry.
Eastern is in an hour and a half.
Yeah, no.
Okay, that's not it.
9 p.m. Eastern.
Eventually, 9 p.m. Eastern, that's when the ghost hunting stream is going to be. I'm on the West Coast, so
Please don't mess up my times.
All right. Before I dig my grave any deeper, haha, destination investigation pun. I'll see you next time for ghost hunting, and stay tuned for Tales of Zadia Lost Oasis with Jen Polly. Bye, everybody.
Bye.